This event is an experiment, fueled by reckless optimism. We went for it, willing to eat it along the way. The mountains and seafloors are infinitely patient. They play a long game, an immortal, geological one. We, on the other hand, are restless and obsessive, highly vulnerable, vastly underqualified. Our relationship status, complicated. We invited 12 surfers to Micronesia and exposed them to the elements and some really sharp coral. The results of our experiment are in. This is natural selection surf.
Welcome to finals day of the first ever natural selection surf event here in Micronesia on the outskirts of a tiny coral atoll in the middle of the Western Pacific. We have 8 men and 4 women who represent some of the best free surfers on the planet. It's Martin Daly's boat that's brought them here. Let's join them on the road to Micronesia.
Like, as our plane was going down, we just looked to the side and there was a 6 set and it just spits. And we were all just frothing so hard to get from the airport to the surf.
Micronesia is definitely one of my favorite places. Crystal clear water, shallow, heavy reef passes filled with life.
Yeah, we travel a long way to get here. It's really remote, really raw and incredible.
It's so cool. I never thought I'd be surfing a tropical reef break with no one out.
We're here, we're at natural selection surf event, first day of the contest.
Wow, it's just perfect.
Are you stoked you won?
Did I?
Did you? Yeah.
He said Kirra.
Milla.
Holy shit!
I just got in a good rhythm and the wave just kept coming to me when I got to the outside, and yeah, stoked to get a couple with these guys out, you know. I think that was like the best wave of my life. We got I don't know, I honestly feel bad that these guys can't surf again. But it's funny.
So I think I got some more room to do a little bit better.
Stoked to be here. I'm stoked to have had a session with all my mates.
Welcome back to the Natural Selection Surf Studio. We had an epic first day and now we're back for seconds. I'm joined by 3 of surfing's finest. Between them, 5 world titles and an 8,000 watt smile. There it is. We knew we were getting
I made it.
Lisa Anderson, Tanner Gadauskas, Barton Lynch. Go on. Yes, we got it that time.
Kinda.
Okay. First day, lived up to all expectations across the board?
Beyond for me. I mean, it was not only visually stimulating, it was crazy watching everyone go over the ledge and in charge and take things to the next level.
It kind of took me a minute to like actually come down from what we were seeing that day. It was bizarre, is what I would say. Like it was doubled up, tripled up, and subterranean.
Yeah.
Right? Like it was just so fun to watch.
And you don't realise, you kind of go home after that day and you take it all in, but seeing that highlights package again now, you realise how gnarly it was, how below sea level it was nuts. And so definitely lived up to expectation.
Fantastic. If you're just joining us, if you don't know about the NST universe, you can go and check it out on all of the social channels. At Natural Selection is the main Instagram channel, but there's Natural Selection Surf, Natural Selection Bike, Natural Selection Snow, and Natural Selection Ski. Go and check them all out. I promise you, each of them are as breathtaking as the last. There's also a YouTube channel with loads of behind-the-scenes content. But we're going to get stuck into today's action. What were the standouts for you from the first day?
Everyone, if I can say that. But, you know, my pick was Al, so he definitely stood out to me, and Eithan, and the girls, Kirra for sure, and Milla. And everyone seemed to learn a lot, just even the ones that didn't advance. Like you could tell that they were like, okay, now I know what I got to do in the future for the next one.
I feel like through the day you could see that the heat could flip on itself. The story could be different with a buzzer beater wave that was just a wave of a life. So like Eithan and Kirra were my picks in the beginning, and I stand by it that I think they have the strength of character to pull through on another day for the win.
Yeah, I mean, Kirra was breathtaking in that second women's like repechage session. That was totally emphatic. No one else got a look in. What about you?
She was going to parts of the reef that others didn't want to go to, and she looked totally confident. In my mind, she was the standout of that day one, particularly for the women. But overall, I still felt like her performance was at a really strong level. She was committed beyond that of anyone else in that women's field.
Yeah, I think that deserves an honourable mention for Harry Bryant, though, the goofy footer who absolutely attacked that reef. I mean, it was one thing doing it forehand, but for him, he got squashed a couple of times.
And we didn't see Soli and Eithan much because they just surfed the one heat and then went straight through. So we those guys that surf twice, I feel like they've got a little bit of an advantage. They know the reef better. They had more time surfing with the jersey on. So Soli and Eithan have still got stuff where they can surprise us because we haven't seen that much of them yet.
Lisa, we debuted also the Credo judging format, which was super relaxed, no numbers. What did you make of it?
I loved that you could tell by the way the surfers were competing, if you will, that they were not stressed. They were just more like calm and waiting, and some to their demise. But like others, you know, were just taking advantage of the beautiful wave and you know, the excitement of being judged by your peers. It's so cool. And that's kind of how you dream surfing would be.
Would you describe it as a session, Tanner?
Absolutely. Form. Yeah, for sure. Like, I mean, in a session in the regards of like you're trying to get everything you can out of the lineup, right? Like you're not really strategically trying to fine-tooth comb it. You're approaching it differently, and I think the Credo is perfect for that, right? Like you can see these guys pulling in on closeouts and proving that they have that go mode, and then pulling inside and getting a nice little chip and making a barrel. And I loved it. Like, to be honest, like we talked about the other day was like, it's hard for it to go back in the box now that we know how good it can be.
Okay, well, before we get stuck into day one highlights, which we're about to, if you haven't already watched that, pause us here and then go back and watch that, and then you can join us back at this point. But if you've already seen it, then check these out. Little refresher of what happened on day one.
Holy shit! Wow!
crazy. Oh, no way.
Sucked over so bad.
Oh, yeah! What the fuck?
How good were those highlights? I'd forgotten just how incredible that first day was. I hadn't seen that angle either of Al Cleland pumping through that barrel.
It was insane. Like, I mean, that just gave me chills watching that. I don't know. I just can't even believe this is really happening. It's like a dream event.
I think your pick's pretty safe as well. Watching that back again now, Al Cleland looks like he was really in charge of that second heat.
Oh, he looks absolutely at home. Yeah, like I mean, that was tapping us back to his energy that he had on that prior day. And like, you could feel it. Like, from a guttural sense, Al Cleland was enjoying himself.
Oh, what about Eithan's wave? That was the wave of the day, surely. That was a 10-point ride in a traditional sense.
And it's actually a long time since we've seen him surf. You're right. We only got to see him surf once, and he absolutely greased it.
Oh, that was an incredible wave, an incredible tube ride, and one of those rides of your life. So that sets him up in a really good place going into this finals day as well.
But Barton did say, like, you surfed that second repecharge session, and then you had 2 bites of the wave. That must make a big difference.
Yeah, it's definitely like, you know, building momentum, give you a lot more confidence. And then, you know, you can switch up your strategy a little bit because, you know, depending on how it worked for you in the first round, you know, you can kind of play around a little bit. But, you know, the main goal is still to advance.
You know what I was just thinking is, like, we don't really know what the conditions are going to be like. It could be even gnarlier, like, somehow. I don't know. Or does it get smaller and turn into turns versus barrels? Like, makes it equally as exciting today.
I literally couldn't have segued that any better myself if I tried.
Yeah.
The fifth member of the team is Nathan Fletcher. He's out there, and we can find out a little bit more about what's been going on the island overnight between the first day and the second day of competition. Let's find out from the hellman himself, the salty sea dog, Nathan Fletcher.
Day 2, natural selection surf. We're going to be doing a semifinal for the men, and we're going to go straight into the final for the women. It's man-on-man format, expression session style, and the waves and conditions are not what they were yesterday, but it's definitely waves of consequence. So we're looking for that progressive surfing and waves of consequence. The tide should be coming in. It should get better as the day goes. The wind's not quite as strong as yesterday. A little bit more easterly direction, and my presumption is guys are going to go mental, is what I've been hearing. And we're going to be really looking forward to that.
I wonder if that's a technical term from Nathan there. Okay, this is our bracket for the men. You can see how Eithan got straight through to the semi-finals. Noah joined him, Alan joined him from the second round. Soli straight through, and Noah is going toe-to-toe with him. On the women's side, Milla Coco Brown straight into the finals, first time of asking. And then we've talked about it already, but a phenomenal performance from Kirra Pinkerton out of San Clemente, Tanner's pick, to join her in the final. We're going to see the men's semis, and then we'll go into women's final, and then the men's final will finish us off today. Right, you've had a look at the brackets. I'm going to put you all under pressure now. I want a men's prediction and a women's prediction.
Well, I'm going to stick with my first choice. So Al, I'm going to bet all my coin on him. And then, gosh, this is a tough one. I'm going to have to go Kirra.
Yes, 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 yes.
You like what you saw in that?
I'm just loving that she's found her, you know, comfort zone out there, if there is one. And it's like she's just going deeper. And if Milla doesn't follow her, then that's going to be an obvious, like, you know, maybe an obvious thing. But, you know, hopefully they kind of are surfing together.
What about you, Tanner?
With the conditions coming down, I feel open to, obviously Milla Coco Brown is such a phenomenal surfer, and she can take it in a performance way. I just have to back Kirra. She is my pick from a soul level, and she surfs phenomenal. Like, she was charging yesterday when it was huge and heavy, but she still will get it done from a power surfing stance. And then on the men's side, Eithan Osborne. So it's kind of cool. Like, for me, I get to stick with my picks from the very beginning, and hopefully things pan out.
He's just claimed it on you, Barton.
Well, he's going with his local homeboys and girls, isn't he? Yeah, the California thing.
I wonder if it could be California clean sweep.
No, that's a little shallow just to do it that way, is it not? What about
misguided?
What about Soli Bailey? I'm sticking with mine too, because he hasn't shown us much yet. It's like it hasn't really peaked. So there's plenty of room for Soli to show us his performance surfing. He's a good competitor. He's got that. And again, Milla Brown, if it comes down to, I felt like Kirra Pinkerton's board looked a little long and a little sticky and not quite, she was like, it wasn't flowing and beautiful. If she comes down to on a more performance board, then that'll even up things. But if she doesn't, I feel like Milla Brown's got the performance on the wave face to take it. So I'm going to go with the Aussies. Stick it with the
wow, okay.
I think shallow, eh?
The women's is so hard to pick because on one you've got this precocious, youthful talent in Milla Coco Brown, and then you've got the woman leading the QS who's so hungry and obviously on point competitively. So
yeah.
Definitely one to keep your eyes on. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the first of those men's semi-finals. We can't wait. Welcome to the edge of the world. This is Micronesia, and this tiny coral atoll has one of the biggest and most intimidating right-hand reef/point breaks you are ever likely to see. And it's about to get thrown down on by 4 of the world's best men, 2 of the world's best women. Natural selection surf very close to getting underway. You guys excited?
Can you tell?
Yeah, I like that face. We've talked about the surfers all morning. We know that they are nearly the stars of the show, and natural selection's ethos has always been about Mother Nature being the main character, putting the best athletes in the best locations with the best conditions. But today, the star of the show undoubtedly is the wave. Let's go and take a closer look at it.
Coming to a wave for the first time is always scary.
The wave's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. It kind of just pops up out of nowhere and it sucks over just straight dry reef almost.
Within 20 minutes of being dropped in the lineup after 3 days of travel, I found myself in like an 8-foot tube in a really, really like scary situation.
You can see the dark water and you can see like where the reef hits and stuff, and just the way it comes in is just rad, you know.
When you're kind of glancing out into the horizon, you're just like, anything could be coming at me right now. Within the first hour of us being there, 5 of us hit the reef. We had like skin missing, and that's what excites me as a surfer, is just like getting thrown in those situations. We're doing it pretty raw out here. It's sick.
When you hear it from the horse's mouth like that, it sounds even worse, doesn't it? Like the fact that he talks about how many people were missing skin on the reef, but he loves nothing more than that.
I mean, honestly, mark my words, Harry Bryant is the guy to say that. Like, he puts himself in that situation and loves it. And so for him to be noting how gnarly the conditions were is a thing unto itself. You know, he's putting the stamp of certification over how gnarly Micronesia is.
I thought you were a brilliant barometer 2 days ago when we did this, Lisa, because you were talking about how far women's surfing's progressed, that you've got young up-and-comers surfing waves like this.
Yes, this is such a great thing for women's surfing. Not only is it just stunningly beautiful out here, it's just like challenging, scary, you know, dangerous. These girls are just frothing to get out there. They're willing to learn. They're willing to take it on the head. I mean, it's all for your peers, right? And because there's nothing better than to have your peers judging you.
Well, we've heard about it. Like, we saw Kirra Pinkerton talking about it there. The reef nearly sucks dry. It's 200 feet deep, straight up to 4 feet deep. And I think it was at the end of yesterday for a section where Harry Bryant was talking about parts of the reef sucking dry on the corners.
From a color spectrum, when you're looking at these drone shots that are beautiful, the difference of the dark blue and then it comes up to this light gray, that's all reef right there. And like we were talking the other day, it's got to be ranging from dry to 1 foot to 2 foot to 4 feet at deepest. And to think that you're going to compress like 20 feet of water over 4 feet of water into dry reef, it's hairball. Like, it's definitely heavy metal.
Okay, combined with this reef, we've also got the new judging format. And we touched on it earlier on, but we'll take a closer look at it now. It actually originated with the snowboarding formats. It's called Credo. So the acronym is creativity, risk, execution, difficulty, and overall. Each category holds equal weight, but out in the water, it has a very different meaning, doesn't it, Lisa?
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that was survival mode for everyone the other day, and today I'm thinking I'd like to see some creativity, because maybe the conditions are slightly different, and it'd be fun to see a little bit of variety.
What about, I mean, we've pulled this apart in each of the judges' decisions, Tanner, but it really affects things not having scores and not those not being updated while you're out in the water?
I think in the best way, right? Like you're no longer sitting there with 5 minutes remaining thinking, I only need a 3 or a 4. You're really just enjoying what you have in front of you and saying, hey, like, if it comes in, this is how I'm going to approach it. I'm already out here with intention to surf these specific waves and do it this way. Like the Credo is great. It's tight enough that you get the feeling, and it's loose enough that it can be interpreted by all the different surfers.
I think one of the really important things to say, and we saw it in the second women's session yesterday, just your positioning, the way you place yourself in the lineup. Kirra Pinkerton literally stuck her hand up to the judges and said, look at me, by going all the way up the reef.
Absolutely. She was like, okay, watch me do this. And, you know, I would have given her a million points just for that, you know, but it's like, you know, you're setting a precedent for the other girls. Like you know, the other girls are like going, wow, she's psycho. And do I want it as much as she does, you know? And it's like, there is a little bit of pressure out there because you do want to like learn and you do want to get better and you do want to push each other. I was surprised to see her the only one out that far.
But at the same time, on that same heat, Annie Dos Santos, who's a goofy foot, approaching it from a different place, right? She had to kind of condense her tube riding by virtue of her being backside. And I think that's really cool to speak to, like, hey, it doesn't always have to be furthest out is the gnarliest, which in that case, Kirra was pushing the level. But for Annie, she found a way for her to interpret the Credo and do it and get the barrel ride, right? Like she got a couple sick waves for that day.
Especially for someone who'd been bitten off as hard as she had in the first round and then on her first wave in the second round as well. Took some stump.
Absolutely. That takes grit, you know, to come back from that kind of stuff in conditions like that. You really have to man up. Sometimes when you're riding waves like this, it feels like rolling over pool coping to get into a half pipe. It's just impossible. And so you have to mentally put yourself in that spot where there's no turning back. And I think Annie Dos Santos kind of had a lot of that the other day.
Yeah, she's definitely made some noise about that one. Okay, we're going to have a little chat now about the Industry Alliance. These are the brands within the surf industry who are supporting natural selection surf. So massive shout out to Roxy, Quicksilver, O'Neill, Lost, Channel Island surfboards and Vans in there as well. Without their support, this wouldn't be happening. So thank you all so much. Now it's time to throw into the first of our men's semi-final previews with Nathan Fletcher. Well, we're going to meet Nathan in a second. Apologies about that. This is the weather. Very similar conditions to yesterday. We've got same amount of wind, slight drop in the swells, same air temperature, and it's still sunny.
All right, day 2, natural selection surf. We're going to go straight into the men's semifinal, heat number 1, and that's going to be Cleland Jr. and Eithan Osborne. We're going to see 2 really close friends, the highest caliber of futuristic, gnarly surfing. And they're just going to go head-to-head in a camaraderie style, you know, approach, because I know they're really good friends. They both are probably pretty interested to watch each other. They're both competing, and they both want to get into the final. So it's going to be kind of like some brotherly love we're looking for.
First ever NST surf event. You won the first ever NST heat.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. That's sick. I don't think we could have started off any better. We were pretty much looking for the biggest, like, gnarliest stuff we could find, and that's exactly what it was.
I don't even know how to explain it. I think it was just something different. We've made contest surfing and actual surfing history in different ways.
The bigger waves would just, like, draw up on the reef so much, and there was so much ocean behind it. I just remember going through the first section, and it was just massive, and it spit, and I couldn't see anything. And then I thought about, like, doggy-dooring it, but I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay in it. I think that might have been the best wave of my life.
Being here on this trip is a blessing, and I mean, I'm very grateful to be a part of it. Yeah, whatever comes down, I just want to be happy and have fun, and hopefully the waves are still pumping.
Okay, really simple format now. You heard it from Nathan Fletcher. We got 2 surfers in each of our semi-finals. Winners advance to the final. It's all to play for out there. Perfect conditions. Let's see how they get on.
Back in my crop top.
Woo. Okay. Lisa, your pick. Cleland Jr. going up against one of the most impressive men from that first round. I mean, they've both got such a reputation as chargers. We're not going to see anything held back here.
No, absolutely not. I can feel the energy right now.
There it is, up and running, a 45-minute heat. Credo judged. Let's see what they've got.
What a great pairing this is, you know, when you really think about the year that these guys have had and really where they're coming from. They've put so much time in on waves in situations like this. Eithan traveling with guys like Harry Bryant, putting in with his movie Motel Hell, and the skinny meathead took him to like Ireland and a ship sterns and Hawaii, and I feel like he's leveled up. Coming from Ventura, you'd kind of feel like maybe he wouldn't love these kinds of conditions, but as you can tell, he's just like a pig in shit.
Look at that, dragging that whole forearm. Solid rail grab and then just mixing it up.
Yes. No, so what's great about Eithan is he's free radical. He's basically at every moment, every wave, gonna have the potential to blow your mind and do something you're not expecting to see.
So that Eithan wave was just like a nice, it was like such a pretty, nice wave, but nothing like too extreme ever, right? But just beautifully surfed.
Yeah, he didn't look like at any point he was not going to make it, you know, like he looked like
I think you called it exactly, Lisa, like a little bit more creativity, less survival, a little bit more flair.
Yeah, it looks kind of fun, dare I say.
Be careful.
I know.
Look at that. I love the pose at the end of that barrel as well. He looks so relaxed.
Beautiful surfing.
Yeah, Eithan's really well known for that grab rail carve where he can really lay in his square frame and pack the power. He's not a big guy necessarily, but he really does stance up and he has a powerful turn on him.
Look at this, that's so much further up the reef. He's going to make it 2 on top of Cleland. Threads that one.
Yeah, Eithan's getting a little bit of a recipe here, huh?
Full backdoor on that section. How did he make that work?
So, Lisa, today versus yesterday, like, we're talking completely different wave, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen a set yet, but it looks pretty fun, though.
And, too, thinking about Cleland is yet to get on the board. I wonder if he's seeing those sets, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know, but hopefully we see a little bit more meatier ones coming through.
Well, we know that there were like 20-minute gaps between the sets when it was big, so now it's dropped off just a touch.
Well, I mean, like you were saying, Lisa, like the creativity coming in on a day to like today, this is still equally enjoyable to watch. We're getting a little bit of a different shade, I'd say.
Really dangerous as well in terms of strategy, because if Al's patient and he just waits for that big one, it doesn't matter how many of the... If there is a big one out there, then Al's... It might take one wave, but at the moment, Eithan just getting busy.
Yep. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that Eithan is going to be really well known for. That's a club sandwich turn right there. He like I was saying, he is free radical, right? Like, even just thinking that's really not where you would try to approach that turn, but he's able to fit it in there and make it look good enough.
Well, he called it at the start the other day. He said, describe your surfing, it's thoughtless. Like, it's just there, it's happening to him, almost.
No expectations.
No brains, no headaches, maybe.
Yeah. I haven't watched any action sport film that transmits energy like Skinny Meathead does.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it already, go and watch. Look at this, 4 waves unanswered for Eithan Osborne.
Wow, what a deep barrel.
And in a similar way, in the bike formats for NST and the snowboard formats, you fall on something, it's not going to damage your score. And again, it's being taken into account here. The judges are watching him attack everything. The intent, we talked about the purpose that you show.
I mean, the story that's being told right now is that Eithan is in control, right? Like, you got to be watching this and thinking he's just hammering every angle that's available to him. But in the back of your mind, you know that, that's a great I mean, that's something fresh and new right there. That's that club sandwich. But what I was going to say is Al Cleland is sitting out the back. He reads water phenomenally. That's kind of what I feel like he should be known for, is that he'll find the nugget in any sort of session.
Well, let's see if you're right. He's had a taste of his own medicine so far. He dominated that second session yesterday. Oh! Floater.
Oh, Lisa, talk to me.
Let's go.
This is insane.
I love it. I love it.
That was a decent callback, wasn't it? He knew what he needed to do there. He needed to catch the judge's attention, and that was smooth.
Look, to know Al Cleland is to know where he's coming from, right? Like, he's from Pascuales, Mexico, mainland Mexico. His surf scene is so far out there, and he's surrounded by a core group of guys who care very specifically about surfing. And Al is just, he screams down the line on this. That's so fun to watch. He truly embodies the best parts of being a surfer, in my opinion.
Give that kid a vert ramp and let him do a frontside rock and roll. That was epic. Oh! Beautiful surfing from Al Cleland. Where's he going to head to now, though? Straight back into it.
Wow. Here we go. I mean, that's still got a lot of tooth on it, right, Lisa? Like, that's gnarly enough.
For sure. I think what happened just then is, you know, he started at the top, and then, you know, further down, it looks like there's another spot you can take off to kind of get a couple more.
It's interesting when reef breaks do this, where when it is bigger, essentially you're taking off. Oh, let's check in with the judges real quick, actually.
Needed that and a turn. Huh?
I think Eithan's still winning.
Okay, nice little bit of intel there. Eithan's still winning, but Al definitely getting some work done, and something coming in that Eithan slipped over. Al's not that interested in it either.
Ooh, this looks like something.
I like this.
I mean, this is looking dreamy.
Al's going to get it. This may... Oh.
Oh, yeah. Gosh, Al, just hitting the brakes right there. Fill it up again, my brother. Oh, so nice. So Al has just such a good flow through every single wave. And here goes Eithan out the back.
Stalls. A lot of foam on that face.
I was just going to say the same thing. What a car,
What a turn that was.
As soon as he saw a bit of clear water. This is really close now. 5 waves, nothing too big for either of them, but we're seeing a real exchange here. 3 for Al.
That, for him to be able to just cannonball man through that chandelier is so difficult.
Twice.
Al really making the most of this. I mean, it'll be interesting to see the difference on these two scores. Eithan, I remember having a really fantastic carve at the end of his ride, but Al, this first barrel was actually a really good looking too.
We want to get into, I want that quote from the judges again straight away. Oh. And again. So, oh no, replay still. I thought we were going straight into another wave then.
How tricky is that barrel, Lisa, coming out into all that foam?
Tricky. I mean, I've never been in waves like this before. But looking at it, I can tell you that that's difficult. And these guys are pretty neck and neck.
Oh, this is rad. I mean, Ed, this is a sick, sick heat. And I love how it's playing out right here.
Al's done so well to reel Eithan back in. Like, he was running away with this 20 minutes ago. Just 10 minutes left of this 45-minute heat. And Al Cleland's starting to fight his way back into it.
You have to wonder if the dynamic has changed now, as it is 2 people in the water versus 3 and 4 from the day before. Oh gosh.
Almost oververt on that.
He's treating it like lower trestles. This is insane.
Oh, this is starting to get really tight now. 8 minutes on the clock. Al Cleland, and we talked about this, the rhythm of your heat as well. Eithan started so strong, and Al's starting to build towards the finish here.
What a turn. The fact that he's able to come up and actually hit the lip, blow the tail out, that's as dry as it gets inside there.
Eithan's strategy was get a bunch at the beginning and then...
Eithan just maybe starting to feel a little bit of pressure now.
So, Ed, what I was talking about earlier is I wonder if the potential of this lineup has changed a lot because of the size of the swell. The other day, a couple days ago, it was big, right? And so it would condense and feel like 50 yards felt like 5 feet. Versus maybe today, you're able to sit in more specific areas and be closer to each other, kind of play the game a little bit more.
Well, that inside section looks like it's fired. Eithan back up and riding though. Gives himself a shampoo on the top section there. So fast wrapping on that one.
Oh, it's so great to see Eithan competing. Dude, the guy's kind of unorthodox. He's so free radical that sometimes it doesn't click, but today it looks like he's on fire.
I still think Eithan's winning it. But, you know, obviously it's one really good wave from Al right now. Yeah. And he would be winning. You know what I mean? Because it's close enough to where they just, you know, he is surfing good. He is doing some rad stuff. You know, it's still going to come down to that.
Do you think Ian was agreeing with him there, or was he just stonewalling him?
I think he's seasick. I don't know.
Okay, Al Cleland needs something. 6:30 to go. He's got to work hard for this one.
I mean, he's sitting out in the pole position. This looks like it could be a really good ride.
One of the bigger waves.
Straight into the tube. Come on, Al. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Doesn't mess around. No turns in there. Just pulls that one out and leaves it hanging in the air between him and the judges. That is a beautiful way to answer. He won't have heard that from the judges, but he must have felt it.
Yeah, this replay. Look at that.
How crazy is it when you think about flipping the script, right? Eithan comes out hot, controlling the heat. And now Al, he's right back into it if he hasn't flipped it himself.
That was quite larger, that wave, than all the previous ones, too.
100%. Loads more power in it. I think it's going to be very, very difficult to keep Eithan in the lead here.
So that was remember that was a lead change. And remember, Eithan took that shitty one beforehand. That should have been Eithan's wave. Yeah. That was it. That was a mistake, a big mistake on Eithan's part. Or, well, who knows? Maybe even a nutser one is going to come through now. You know.
Call me immature, but I love the fact they don't bleep anything. It feels like we're not being treated like children.
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing, actually.
Let it all hang out.
Al on a roll, and he's picking up another one here.
I mean, Eithan's not even looking at these. They must appear like insiders, but have a really good growth over the reef on that inside chip.
Oh, loads that one up. Al's just, you can see it. He really wants it now, and he knows the pendulum swung his way. It's smaller. Like, this puts in perspective that last wave he had.
It does, but again, like Al just does such a good job of traversing a unique line, right? This speaks to the creativity within the credo. He's able to throw the arms back, get a little bit of spice. I don't know if that wave is gonna be, in the long run, a score or not, but he's keeping the attention span right there for the judges.
And just staying busy. You know, there's a lot of waves coming in. I think that, you know, keeping that rhythm is important.
Eithan, he's taking a leaf out of Al's book, but there's nothing there, and the clock is running down on him. Eithan Osborne, having led this heat through the first almost 35 minutes, suddenly finds himself on the ropes.
Guys, this is my pick right here. It's on the line for me.
It's Lisa's pick versus your pick.
Yeah.
Oh, they've both done so well, though.
Oh, and amazingly, we've talked about this all the way through, but Eithan knew there. I think he knew that he hadn't done enough. Yep. He knows what the judges have seen. He knows what he's done. Let's take a look at the whole heat back, see if it really is that cut and dry.
That's so interesting because, yeah, he came out of the gates so hot with this ride right here showing you basically everything you can do. You can get a barrel, you can do a gnarly carve, and kind of an air floater, if I'm correct on my memory there. And he owned the heat in the very beginning, and then, of course, Al flipped the script.
Yeah, that just like that. I mean, it just took one wave to bring him in the lead, and he just held on tight to that.
Here we go.
Impressive.
Al, rock and roll.
Love that floater. And this is where he started to find his mojo, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Built that momentum.
Yeah, it's fun to see. It's fun to watch as guys click into rhythm, and they're able to ride as many waves as they choose and create that within the heat.
Oh, was this the big one? It was, wasn't it? Just threading it all the way through.
Good stuff.
Water Patrol loved it as well.
How could you not?
I just think that one wave that Al caught was the biggest, best barrel. And then he also had a ton of other rides that he was just ripping.
He had several other barrels.
Big grab rail, jam down car.
The one that he did the floater on in the layback.
Yep, the nice, smooth, complete ride. Eithan was ripping at the start, but yeah, I think overall Al took that one out. Who do you think won that last one, Pam?
Al won it, yeah. Yeah, he just took over the momentum at the end, you know, like, the back half, like back switch half an hour.
I mean, he kept pace until it switched. You know what I mean? It wasn't like completely out of it and then got that one wave.
Yeah,
he was really close, and we said it ahead of time. We're like, he's one wave away from switching it, and then he got it, and then he switched it, and then Eithan made a few probably positional mistakes, because I think there were a couple waves that had he moved over inside or been in position, and how good he surfs, he could have ridden away without a tube and done something crazy. What's this?
Decision.
Oh.
Jody.
We have Al winning.
Absolutely love that we get to see that discourse between the judges.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what we're looking for. I mean, we want to get the feedback from them because, you know, there's nothing more important, like I said before, about having your peers give you the score or just like let you know that you're killing it. But at the same time, like, it's interesting to see the way they approach it.
What? How was it?
It was fun. It was fun.
How was that first wave you got?
Pretty sick.
Insane.
Shower right there.
Fuck, that first wave came right to him too.
Yeah, that was a fun one.
I was like trying to get away from him, like trying to like strategize something, and then the wave was like, oh, here you go, Eithan, check it out. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, fuck, it's so psyched for him.
That was a nugget.
That was sick.
That was really good. A little bit of brotherly love out there.
Yeah, boy. The whole time we had a conversation. It was sick.
Yeah. Healthy competition.
Yeah.
All right, so Alan won. Looks like Eithan's on the drink.
Good job.
Thanks, brother.
Well, good job to both of you. How'd you feel out there, Alan?
Fuck it. Felt sick being, you know, out there with a really good friend and, you know, some really good bombs coming in. Like, they're still swell, so. I mean, especially when you're like one of your brothers, you know, we've been surfing together for so long. It's like you can't even take it as a heat. Even if it was just so cool to be out there at Eithan. So it's fucking
good vibes.
Yeah, I was just stoked to be a part of that for sure.
Okay, with that result in, we have our first men's finalist. Al Cleland Jr. is in the final. Who will it be, Soli Bailey or Noah Beschen joining him? We're going to find out very, very shortly. But a just result there. And Lisa, you're still on track. You called this from the start.
Yeah. I mean, it was a gamble, right? But like I said, I had some insight of his surfing prior to this, and yeah, that's just stuck in my mind for this type of wave.
Well, what's fascinating, if you're watching the Pipe Pro, then you know how he surfed there. It was absolutely charging, and this isn't that different.
No, but he's just connected. He's a Swiss Army knife, if you will. Like, he's able to get it done no matter what it is, essentially, and to put one foot in front of the other. But again, great heat. It like kind of could have gone both ways, and I loved being able to hear the judge's opinion. It wasn't cut and dry. They were able to talk it out, and I think that's such a healthy thing. And if there's respect amongst everybody involved, it's just going to lift the bar. It's going to keep lifting it. And at this point, all four guys remaining are aces.
Yeah. It's truly is that way. I mean, Soli Bailey versus Noah Beschen. This one promises to be pretty brutal.
Yes, I can't wait. I'm actually cheering for Noah. I want to see him, you know, I mean, I'm feeling some aerials coming in.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sensing it.
What about you?
Have
you got a pick on here, Tanner?
I had to think on that. I think Noah as well. Like, I mean, Soli, oh my goodness, he's such a good surfer. But I really do. I love the way that Noah is so unique. He truly is a one-of-a-kind surfer. And so I'd like to see how he approaches this today.
I'm going to go against both of you. I think the bib, like that experience, I just saw that a little more in Al, the patience, the wave selection. I think Soli's got that from those years on tour. So we'll see.
Could be right.
What about conditions out there? Like we did touch on it slightly, but with the swell dropping, there's still a couple of bombs. We saw Al on one, but it has changed the approach.
Definitely changed. More performance, high performance surfing, and less, you know, I mean,
hellman.
Yeah, less hellman. I mean, there's no risk, no reward, you know, still out there, and it's still the whole name of the game. But it's refreshing to see all the turns in between all the, you know, barrel dodging and barrel riding. So, yeah, I love the combination of both, though.
You called that out a couple of times with Eithan, just seeing him sticking the most random terms in the most difficult parts of the wave.
Yeah, and it's fun. Like, I think that really relaxes that part of the credo. Just bring in the creativity. Like, if it is not absolutely coning, then don't go there. You know, mix it up. Try something fresh up, because that pushes the progression of the sport as well. It's not always having to be cut and dry, like, hey, you were the deepest, this is the gnarliest. It's like, I really liked how Eithan approached that last heat, even though he didn't make it, and I think we'll see more and more of that.
Okay, well, we're ready to get into the men's semi-final 2. We've got this absolutely stunning location in the middle of Micronesia. We can take a look at the weather conditions here. Got that 6 to 8 foot on the sets. We've seen a couple of smaller ones come through. We saw people picking off 3 to 4 footers. But let's go over to Nathan Fletcher now and find out.
Men's semifinal number 2 is Soli Bailey and Noah Beschen. You know, both high level, some of the best in the world for radical, progressive, gnarly dudes. And yesterday, Soli went on a wave that was absolutely mind-bending. Noah won his heat to get into the semifinal. And basically, there's going to be some more friendship, competitive, friendly environment. And I'm really, really stoked to see what Soli does, because he has the power and the balls. And then Noah just has that lanky, gnarly, over-your-board pop, super dexterity on the highest level. And so both of these heats are going to be some of the, you know, most competitive, most loving, brotherly love style, but also just the highest level of radical surfing. So it's really going to be an excitement to watch.
Today was just super heavy and nuts, and everyone charged. I think all of us would agree we've seen some of the craziest waves maybe I've ever seen in my life.
I feel like it's a historic day in surfing. You don't get waves like that in surf competition, and they took a huge risk by coming here and to score like we scored today. Like, it's insane.
You know, a lot of us have all surfed bigger waves and whatnot, but today had so much energy in the ocean coming out of such deep water, and the wind and all the elements that were involved. It sort of put this kind of like full-on fear into all of us that it was legit.
I honestly got some of the most pounded I've ever gotten in my life on the wave I didn't make. My second heat, it was actually probably the slowest heat of the day, I feel like, but I still got some barrels and it was still sick.
As much as I was psyched to win my first heat and be in the finals day, I also was like, man, I'd love to surf again. I'm super pumped to have that opportunity tomorrow. I think the swell's going to hang in there, and I'm just psyched to go and have a heap of fun.
I just want to get a big barrel and come out and be psyched. And if I make it, if I win, or whatever happens, like, I'm in love with surfing, so.
Noah and I are going to be able to surf together, and he got some crazy waves today, so we're just going to score some of the waves of our life.
So we've cut 8 surfers down to 4. We've already seen the first of the semi-finals. We know that Al Cleland is in the final. Now it's a straight shootout between Noah Beschen and Soli Bailey to find out who joins him.
How you feeling, Soli?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Actually, you know what, I'm freaking sore from yesterday.
Yeah?
I think everyone woke up feeling like they were in a car accident after all the wipeouts that everyone had.
You're looking pretty good in that extra small rack card.
Yeah, baby.
Are you excited to surf against Soli?
Yeah, I'll surf with Soli.
With Soli.
No, I surf against him too. No, I'm safe. I'm just saying to go surf out there if fucking no one out.
Pretty exciting to watch too.
Yeah. I think this is the first time we'd ever like got to surf together in a kind of heat format, and obviously I've watched him tear for the last freaking 10 years growing up as a Grom, and he's a little bit younger than me, and just, yeah, it's gonna be sick to be able to just, you know, go blow for blow with him.
Okay, tag team in the commentary booth here again. We've swapped out Lisa for Barton Lynch. Good to have you back, Barton.
That's a bit of a mismatch, isn't it, eh?
What are you talking about?
Mate, well, we're excited to be back here and to watch this second semi-final.
What's your gut telling you?
My gut's telling me that Soli has been in this situation, and yesterday he threw himself over. In the first semi, we saw the bigger waves influence the most. So really, whoever can be the most patient. I like the idea of an early start, catching some waves, as this one's underway now. But whoever gets the biggest, gnarliest ones and manages to make them, they're going to be the one who wins, I feel like. So it's all a wave selection situation.
Noah Beschen, he's been first in every time, and it's the same here.
Yeah, that seems to be kind of a reoccurring theme for Noah Beschen, is to just get one right off the horn.
Oh, what a turn.
Drives into the lip, spins it, completed ride.
He's an incredible chameleon of a surfer, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, imagine doing an air reverse with the wind completely at your back. It's going to basically 10 out of 10 times blow your board away from you, and Noah has that super grip. He's able to pull that kind of stuff.
Straight up behind him, Soli Bailey.
Ooh, deep, throaty one. Is he going to make it traveling? Definitely gets the advantage on this opening exchange, guys. Beautiful carve.
Shades of Chopu between John and Kelly there, like back-to-back waves. Absolutely beautiful. What an exchange to open this one up.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing this front on, Tanner, because from the side, like, it's a smaller wave. It was high performance, but it didn't really have the tube. I think that this is, advantage Soli Bailey, no question, on the opening exchange.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Barton. I feel like this was fun in the sense that it was something unique and different. But really, when you see Soli's from the beach angle, he was incredibly deep, and he really maximized that wave.
Okay, let's have a look at Soli's then.
Coming in from deep, you see the section drops down out from the white water to give himself time to backdoor that beautiful tube ride. And then this carve, beautiful, stylish turn. And that was perfectly surfed. You couldn't have done any better on that one.
Soli is such a fantastic surfer. He has the ability to surf these gnarly, gnarly waves with the finesse of a big guy. Like, he's able to place his turns in spots where other surfers cannot.
Yeah, see that foam ball ride as well, so super critical on that tube ride.
Best part of watching you commentate that, you're pretty much surfing it with him from the edge of the couch.
You can't help it. And Soli was originally known for his small wave competing. And it's only in the last few years that he has transitioned to being one of the best big wave tube riders, free surfers on the planet. We saw what he did at Cloud Break with one of the rides of the year. Here we go, up again.
It is funny, that transition, Barton, when you do think about it. He might be able to tap that competitive mindset, but now he's applying it in a much different medium here in Waves of Consequence.
Couple of turns there.
It was almost like a wave you would catch without priority, just to get a second score, where you just get a couple of turns in.
Okay. You've got to wonder as well, like Soli's probably he's got a few stitches in his left arm there as well. That's probably nagging him, at least until he stands up on these, and then he's in the moment, isn't he? Could Soli be the surfer he is without, I think it was 9 years, competitive surfing in the bib?
Oh, he's been competing since he was a child.
Well,
he's been in and around competition for a long time, and it's been his long-term goal to be in this situation. And it's only recently he's transitioned to the free surfer big wave thing, and he has transitioned with such a rapid progress.
Dude, it's psycho. Like, if you really go back and rewatch his edit that he put out, Conehead, you're going to see a vast amount of Waves of Consequence. He's getting the waves you're talking about, Barton, in Fiji. Well, hold on. We got Noah Beschen here out the back. This looks like it could be a good wave.
again, a little bit smaller. No real throaty section on it. The bottom's not dropping out of it. It's not getting that double up, dropping below sea level. So I don't really see that wave actually ever really factoring in a consequential way when Soli's already had that first wave that he did have.
You know, to your point, Barton, of the competitive knowledge, Noah, he is coming from an unorthodox place within competing. He just finished the Swatch Nines event, which was really wild to watch. His dad, of course, Shane Beschen, would have the tutelage of so much experience that Noah, he really has shied away from the QS, from the competitive structures, and you still see him serving at the top level in the best waves. It's really cool because it's a fresh perspective in the matter.
We're seeing an interesting split again. Working this inside section for Noah, but Soli probably knows he can stay on the outside and look for these bigger lumps of water.
Will it stay open? Will he get a tube ride? All important. Oh, didn't think he was going to make that. Oh, this is going to be tough for Noah Beschen to come back from here, although we've got a lot of time.
Stomped it. Wow, that was a ride right there, man. Soli smoking him so far. Just like
lovely bit of that judge's intel again. They know it, but Noah knows it as well.
Well, he turned around and saw that. He had the priority, so to speak. It was his turn, and a nice couple of sections there travelled through.
I mean, that first turn was incredible. He literally punched through the lip. He's backed by so much power. He's such a dark horse, Soli, right?
He really is.
Well, Noah had gone hunting on the inside for something, and you feel like with Soli in the position he's in, Noah needs to wait for something big and like a statement wave to really turn the judges now.
And you needed to do that from the start. Really, when you look at Noah's performance to date, the time has been wasted catching those waves because they're not of consequence. Soli's bumped into ones that are obviously, you know, nearly twice as big and throaty. So it's, you know, with 24 minutes left, still plenty of time, but Soli's in the driver's seat.
It does go to the point you were making earlier, Barton, about what is your intention in these heats? Is it to sit out the back and get two big waves, or is it to kind of build rhythm on the inside? And it must be playing out, like obviously for Soli in this case.
But sometimes maybe you need, like out Cleland, he actually took a bit of time, took some smaller waves to get his eye back in and build some momentum, and then he was able to pick off the big dog.
It works if they don't get a big dog while you're doing that.
Yeah.
But if they do, it's a mistake. So, you know, when you think about the ocean, nobody knows what's going to happen next.
That is the joy of it.
Oh.
Little tube ride there, comes around the section, massive flow.
Oh!
And that's exactly what he's got to do now. He's already got a start. He's got a good base. He needs to throw caution to the wind. So, you know, strategically, the right thing to do, even though he fell.
Yeah, start putting it out of reach.
You know what's great to that point, Barton? It's like normally if you had two good waves, you'd kind of start to slow yourself down. He here continues to push his own level.
Well, he knows he's only, like, if a 6-footer rolls through.
Front foot slipped.
How much time left in the contest? 18 minutes, girl. Get your fucking singlet on, you septic. Why do you always have so many fucking questions for us? Just fucking get out there.
This is the most random judges intel. Okay. Brad Gerlach just having a little talk to himself on the judges boat there. Soli back up and riding again.
Coming from deep into the lip, just flares out of the top there, Tanner.
Yeah, and Noah's got to watch that. I don't know what's happening here. It seems like Soli's surfing a much deeper peak on the reef.
Cannot wait to see the replay of that first turn. Oh, Noah's up though.
This is what he needs. This is the size of wave. Will it cup out down the inside? Beautiful closeout turn. The tube was quite short and not really very hollow.
It looks fickle. You know, the tube, it doesn't look as trustworthy today, I would say. You know, whether it flares open or kind of clamps down, it looks a bit more, like has a lot more personality.
Look at this first turn. It's like he's got 4 pounds of C4 strapped to his fins. Just blows that lip.
Beautiful wrap, so stylish. And he's having a good time now. I bet, you know, the surfers know. This one doesn't really feel very close at this point in time. This was the opportunity.
It's just hard to count Noah out, right? Like
beautiful,
even
yeah.
that turn, you can tell he drives with so much speed off his back foot. Like imagine if that had come together in a bit more of like a club sandwich or a layback, he might start to build that rhythm back and make a big push against Soli.
Especially because it was right in front of Soli. Yeah. Could have put a bit of pressure on him. Soli's right in the water down there. Definitely having a little chat there, aren't they, on the way back out?
I loved how Noah said surfing with, not against, in the preheat interview. That was an insight into the type of sentiment that we were hoping for in this event. While competitive, it still has that surfing spirit.
And we heard that from Al Cleland, didn't we? He said me and Eithan were just chatting the whole time out there.
Soli just on a...
He's up again.
Oh, the turn shape.
Oh, deep in the tube too. I dare say this one's done, Tanner.
Yeah, this could be the final straw right here.
Oh, beautiful roundhouse.
He continues to just connect on the perfect parts of the wave.
Beautiful flow.
Yeah.
His wave selection has given him a better canvas every time to work with.
Watch Biel how he drives through that turn and then allows himself to just set up perfectly into it. It's just, that's the kind of connection that you dream of if you're surfing these waves.
And you're enabled that time in this format and in this type of surfing. You don't feel rushed because you're free surfing. He's able to just link that up, sync the sections, absolutely perfect.
Which is more akin to free surf, correct?
Exactly. This combination of those two situations, the free surfing mindset, but at the same time you're still competing. That roundhouse cutty was laid deep and buried fully on the rail.
Oh, the front page. There's something here for Noah, potentially.
Yeah, how late is too late? We have 10 minutes on the clock here.
Not too late now, but is this big enough?
We're about to find out.
Going to the air is something, although this wave doesn't really have that, and maybe the wind's not, it's going to blow your board away, but there needs to be a point of difference and something that Soli's not doing that Noah can do that separates and gives the judges some excitement.
Totally, and when you think about Noah, he has such a deep bag of tricks. Yep, here we go. And that right there, that's your example. The wind instantly disconnects your board from your feet, and you just feel like you're flying in space with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Noah knew he needed to give the judges pause there. That's what he was looking for, anything.
He had to, absolutely. So still fighting his way back and surfing fantastically. Got that beautiful opening ride, rode the very first wave of the event in history.
Yeah, what a good one too.
It was a beauty. And yeah, you saw the wind there just immediately disconnecting the board.
But it's good to see Noah pushing, you know? That's his style of surfing. I think he really comes from that free surf background. So to see him relax, just have fun, throw some moves that are going to be a little bit unconventional for the conditions of the day, it's good to see that.
So 5 minutes left now.
Down the line.
Business end of this session.
Smaller wave.
Oh, wow, BL. Dude. What?
Yeah, it was a beautiful turn, but it ain't enough. You know what I mean? The tube rides and the size of the wave are going to influence this. Look at him driving. Powerful, throws the tail, spins it out, pulls it back.
The follow through on that was sick. Kept that arm down like that.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, there will be a 3-minute break.
Like leaned into it like a layback almost.
Yeah.
And like brought his back arm around. Sick.
So Soli Bailey sat a long way up the reef and sitting pretty in this session at the moment. 30 seconds left on the clock. He's up and riding for the last time.
Pumping down the line. Here's a lovely section. Does exactly what you have to do. Go for it at this point in time, because that wave was not going to have an impact.
Last chance.
Anything for Noah here.
Oh, could this be the buzzer beater right here, you guys?
Oh, hit it.
Oh.
They understand what they've got to do. It seems like they're clearly identifying where the opportunities are. Unfortunately for Noah, it was clawing back right from the start, wasn't he?
So interesting having seen both of them. It is in that 45-minute heat finding the wave of the session, because that is what stands out to the judges both times, for Al Cleland and for Soli Bailey, having just that extra bit of height on the wave.
Sounds a lot like surfing.
It does.
It always comes down to the quality of the canvas is going to impact the performance, and Soli picked the eyes out of that.
Well, it's not a swimming pool out there, Barton.
That's right. Thankfully, we're in Mother Nature's swimming pool.
Look at this. A little recap of this heat. Noah Beschen opened it up for us.
What a great pairing, too. And it came out of the gate strong here with this. This was a back-to-back setup that really set the tone for the heat. Soli coming away with the much better ride.
Deep tube ride, couple of sections, and then a beautiful carve to finish it off. Obviously, Noah Beschen had some beautiful turns, but the size of the wave, the quality of the wave just didn't match Soli's, and so hence we anticipate the result going his way.
Well, I don't think you boys have been wrong yet. So and that's the joy of it, isn't it? You're not talking about these contentious decimal points on a wave score deciding it. It's the session opinion that we all know. You watch it and you know exactly what's going on. Okay, let's find out from the judges. What do they think?
I've been starring like impactful waves. I've been double starring real good ones too. Soli's got 4 stars already, Noah's got none.
Yeah, I know. It's an easy one for us.
Yeah.
Okay, congratulations to Soli Bailey. He will join Al Cleland in the final.
Good waves. I got some waves, I did some turns, but
I think Soli just sucked up all the energy out there.
yeah, I absorbed it all. Hopefully I didn't absorb it too much and still got a little for the final.
You mean you didn't want to wear out your luck?
Yeah. Yeah. We were talking, Noah and I were talking about it. It's like Al had a heat like that yesterday where he just was in rhythm, and I kind of feel like the Pacific kind of does that. Like it just gives someone like the rhythm for the day, and then or for the heat, and then yeah, I'm psyched to surf with Al. He's I sort of feel like we have similar approaches to waves. He's like really heavy-footed, power, like charges. Just it's just going to be a hack off, and then maybe hopefully a couple of barrels, and then obviously, whatever else happens.
Nothing like a good hack off.
Hack off, eh?
Good job.
Thank you.
Great work.
Cheers, man.
So confirmation of both the men's and women's brackets. Al Cleland Jr. coming through from the first of the semi-finals. Soli Bailey joins him from the second. No surprises there. I think that's what everyone... Well, no, actually, Tanner, Lisa called Noah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of surprises, really, because you just don't know. That's the beautiful thing about surfing. Every heat's a 50-50 when it starts. Doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter who you favour, who you don't. In the end, no one knows, and even the surfers don't know what the ocean's going to do next.
Interesting comment, though, from Soli Bailey there. Like, we've got 2 literally keg-punching power surfers in the final. Do you think that's a coincidence?
It may or may not be. I did love what Soli was saying about in the Pacific Ocean, sometimes it feels like there's a rhythm surfer and there's a rhythm to the day. And, looking back, it feels like Al and Soli have kind of had that through those heats. They've really manifested those bigger, gnarlier rides. And so to see them matching up right here, it kind of feels fit for the story.
But they did that on Quali's Day too.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they've kind of had that little rabbit's foot of luck.
Yeah, and we didn't see much of Soli on opening day. So what we saw then was had elements of, we've seen a lot of Al already, right? Yeah. He's shown his best, Nelly, already. Soli's still, we just started to see it there. The momentum just started to build. So they're both in different positions heading into that final. And it's going to be interesting to see which side plays out better.
And it's cool, Barton, like you were talking about, that I guess with natural selection, you have Mother Nature is now a big part of the game. It's not just a strategic battle. It's not just the talent versus the talent. It's talent and Mother Nature. So these guys are matched beautifully, but we all have to wait and see what the Pacific Ocean delivers for them.
Yep.
Okay, let's take a look at the brackets for the final on both the women and the men. Kicking off with the women. In there, we've got Milla Coco Brown going up against Kirra Pinkerton. And I mean, we've chewed the fat on this one, but it's going to be super tight. Too close to call.
Yeah, and it's it's a new school surf off, and they're both young, they're both charging, and they're both capable of really advanced progressive surfing.
Okay, and then in the men's final, these two, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, Soli got the better of Al in the first of the heat sessions. So a little rematch there now. Clicking on now to Michael Schwab and one of the board members of Natural Selection.
I really want to push the boundaries of what's out there today, and that's what we're doing with Natural Selection. Surfing it's just not your everyday sport. It was connected to the ocean and the natural world and unpredictability, and it just looked fun and exciting and interesting. I want to bring more excitement to surfing. I kind of want to push the boundaries on what's out there now. I want to bring the judges more into the fold. I want to bring the athletes more into the fold. That, I feel, is a big difference to what's currently out there in the world. It's that collaboration that was just so beautiful, and it wasn't some, hierarchy of executives making decisions for the athletes. We were keeping them involved and really putting it in their hands and saying, what do you guys want? They're a lot more invested in this whole thing now that we did give them that opportunity, and I think it will show at the end of the day. My investment in this whole world is not to make a multiple on my investment. I'm passionately in love with surfing and the ocean, and I want to bring that passion to other people. Yeah, I just love the sport.
In the heart of the Pacific, emerging from the endless sea, lies Micronesia. A region consisting of over 2,000 islands, many of which are atolls. An atoll's story begins with a volcano, rising from the ocean floor to form an island. Over thousands of years, coral reefs grow around the island's edges, thriving in the shallow waters near the shore. As the island slowly erodes, the coral continues to build upward, forming a protective ring that encircles the lagoon where the land once stood. This living structure shields the lagoon from much of the ocean's relentless energy. In this part of the Pacific, the interplay of tropical winds and shifting ocean currents crafts waves of rare beauty and power. The same energy that brings these swells influences weather patterns across the globe. The presence of atolls modifies these waves, slowing and shaping them as they pass over the reef before reaching the shore. Atolls typically have channels, narrow, deeper gaps in the reef structure that are the ruins of long-gone island rivers. When swell enters the channel, the deeper water allows waves to maintain their speed and energy, ultimately creating unique and consistent breaks. Millions of years of geological evolution, the chaos of atmospheric forces, and the human spirit of exploration converge in a single moment, a gift from the ocean.
I hope you're all paying attention. There'll be a test on that later. A little geography lesson for you there. But it's so good, isn't it? When you get, I find geography so easy to get into. I'm passionate about it as soon as it's surfing.
Well, I'm just passionate about the environment, about nature, as surfers, I don't know that anyone or any sport, should we say, is more connected to nature and deeply engaged with it as we are as surfers. Perhaps the snow industry is the same, and you given that proximity of your relationship with it, you end up having to care about it.
Yeah. Well, who's your mate?
Well, this is the new surfboard packaging, mate. This is what bubble wrap was, and now this is curbside recyclable and the opportunity to send surfboards around the world without damaging, the environment.
Who's putting it together?
This is from a New Earth project. They've redesigned the supply chain is the focus to recreate packaging for all goods. They've been working on cold goods because the styrofoam, that stuff's disastrous in the way we send cold goods around the world. Working on that, working on the surfboards and working on all sorts of ideas for packaging in their centre that there's dedicated to finding new solutions to help the planet.
So a New Earth project have been supporting natural selection from the very beginning. So please support them, and hopefully we'll be seeing these everywhere. We're going to take a short break now, but when we come back, we will have both the women's and the men's natural selection tour surf finals. Welcome back to the studio, where we are watching one of the most open and free surfing competitions in the history of the sport unfold in Micronesia. Incredible watercolor. Lisa, you've been talking about that the entire time. Those reefs are just stunning, aren't they?
I mean, I can't stop talking about it. I've never seen anything like this. It is gorgeous. I would almost just travel there just to go swim in it. But it makes a pretty wave, doesn't it?
It does. Finals time just around the corner. The women's coming up, and it's a mouth-watering prospect watching two surfers who've got absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain from this final.
Yeah, Milla Brown against Kirra Pinkerton. What are you thinking there,
Oh,
Lise?
man. Well, it's a tough one, right? I feel like Kirra is just like stuck in my mind with all her charging in the last rounds the other day. And today it's a little different, right? And so maybe the kid will start doing some little tricks and we'll see something new and fresh. And I'm excited to see either one of them.
They were both charging when we had 6, 8, sometimes 10-foot sets on the first day.
Sure.
How is he going to change the approach massively? Are we going to see different surfers now? It's scaled down a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like Kirra's got power in her turns, and when she hits those turns, it's like she's only 22 years old, but it looks like an adult. It's got that authority in what she does. So I feel like that's an advantage for her over that sort of more youthful style of Milla Brown. But again, it's going to come down to the wave selection and who can find the biggest, meanest, heaviest waves and the deepest barrels. And so far, Kirra has just shown a relentless attacking approach to it.
Whatever brief they were given as well, Lisa, about the judging, both surfers seem to have understood it completely, like the way they surfed each of their sessions.
Yes, I think that they were paying attention for sure. And, you know, the beauty of it is that, you know, a lot of them were standing behind the judges during other rounds and stuff like that and got to listen to what they were talking about, what they were looking for, which is important. So, you know, you're you know, that's part of your strategy too. And, you know, if they kind of get a nod of you watching and listening, maybe that'll help you out as well. So.
Okay, we're going to get stuck into the final very, very shortly. Let's take a little look now. See what we've got out on the reefs. Nathan Fletcher's out there again. He's been giving us all of the intel from the edge of the reef on everyone just before they head out. What have you got to say, Nath?
All right, day 2 of natural selection surf with the women's final. Straight into it, and we got Milla Coco Brown and Kirra Pinkerton gonna go head to head, and they've been just leading the charge. The waves are a little bit less than yesterday, and so they're gonna have to bring the performance aspect to these conditions as well as charge the sets, and so it's gonna be a real exciting watch as well.
Yeah, I was just sending it kind of, and maybe wasn't being the smartest the whole time. Yeah, I'm not afraid to just put myself under and see what happens.
It was like one of the best days of my life for sure. It was like the craziest surf ever. All the girls were charging. The surf was so good. That one wave I got in the heat, I just got under lit. And then I saw the next section, I was like, oh, I gotta get one more, and I got another little tube to the inside.
Vibes are high. Everyone's having a great time.
Oh, it was definitely a goal to make the final, but I just wanted to come here and get tubed and have fun with my mates and just surf with all like my heroes pretty much.
Yeah, just have fun. I think this is everyone's dream event, honestly.
So excited to surf again, especially against Kirra. She charges so hard.
So we're here to get some of the best waves of our life, and I think that's what everyone wants, so that's the plan.
So we come to the end of this 3-round competition. Milla Coco Brown won the first round. Kirra Pinkerton won round 2. Now they go toe-to-toe again in the final.
We're here with Milla Coco Brown, and she's getting ready for the women's final, head-to-head with Kirra Pinkerton. How you feeling there?
I'm pretty excited, but a little bit nervous because Kirra surfs so good, but she's also a good mate, so it's going to be a sick heat.
What's your strategy going against a good mate?
Oh, just go out and have fun and hopefully get some hits.
All right, Kirra Pinkerton here, getting ready for her final. How are you feeling about going head-to-head with Milla?
I think we've both been looking forward to this heat since the day we got here, because I think we both knew that we could do it. And yeah, she surfs super good, and I think we're both just going to be pushing ourselves and just do what we can do.
So now we step up for the women's final, presented by a New Earth project. Both women in the water, and no surprises to see Kirra Pinkerton sitting a little deeper. Buzzer goes, 60-minute heat. Look at that view of the reef when you see it like that.
And the changes, the transition in colour indicate the depth that this swell comes out of and how it rears up and lurches onto the reef. So excited that we're finally here and the final's on. Let's go.
So Milla Coco Brown, first rider up.
A little smaller inside one there, Lisa.
Great surfing. This is the first time I'm actually seeing her like ripping a wave like this, and it's so impressive.
And you mentioned it on the first day, Lisa. She was in the like Aussie Olympic feeder skate program, wasn't she?
Oh,
so
wow.
she's got that real drive, that skatey. Like, she's not just a big wave charger.
No, she loves snowboarding. She loves skateboarding. She loves all kinds of board riding like we all do. And this opening ride was solid. There was nothing that kind of, you know, really caught your attention. It was kind of a warm-up type of a wave in a 60-minute final, and you'd hope to replace that with something of more consequence.
Kirra Pinkerton just looping around on the inside here. Milla Coco Brown again, though.
waiting for it to stand up, jumping and hopping over little parts of the reef.
Yes, I'm wondering if this is it smaller than the previous round, but it is still so clean out there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, see, look at that. You got a little bit more height there for Kirra's first wave.
Big turns from Kirra.
Wow.
Oh, they're matching.
That end turn Milla did was huge. You see that turn, Ger?
No.
Watch this replay, man.
Okay.
It's on the screen.
Okay, I see it.
So he misses the replay.
Driving a cut back there into the closeout, beautiful closeout turn.
That was lovely, wasn't it?
The timing was beautiful.
Finding the lip all the way down there.
A little bit of technique, holding the rail.
Okay, wave for wave.
We see a different board under her feet, so she's gone down in board now that the swell has dropped that little bit. Couple of nice turns there, but definitely the advantage to Milla Brown.
Yeah, I would say so.
Coco, Harry, Mikey, VB all watching from the Indies surveyor there. See what the judges think.
Oh, look at this one behind.
Pam looked like a bird of prey there, didn't she? She wasn't going to miss a thing.
Here we go.
Coco just waiting and pulls out. Only 17 years old, Milla.
Got a huge future.
Surfing so far beyond her years in this comp.
Especially in the charging department.
Definitely. This is so good for her surfing.
Yeah, imagine this being like this is your yardstick. You're like, yeah, this is how I surf now.
Here she is down the line.
That was bad. That was a big flip.
Packed it.
And this is exactly where Credo comes into play.
Yep.
Just willing to take off on that and commit.
Yeah, but it wasn't, it wasn't a score of consequence. It isn't going to influence anything. Kirra Pinkerton's been patient to date, and I think she knows what she's looking for.
Could this be it? Oh, it's a lump.
Get it.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, I wanted her to get in that so bad.
Just bogged a rail on the bottom.
And you can see the wind pushes those wind ribs down the line, creating sections that break in front of you.
I'm right in front of her. Milla Coco Brown takes off. And again pulling into a closeout.
That had some consequence. That had some value, that one, because it was deep. She was late. Yeah, late on the takeoff.
Wow, yeah, that was an excellent drop. I mean, scary, right? She just dropped out of the sky onto that one and straight into the barrel. Technique, got gobbled up, but it's all about going for it.
Zero hesitation. She knew that's where she was going, no matter what the wave did.
Yep.
She was headed under the lip from the moment she took off. Kirra Pinkerton, body language is just showing a little bit of stress, I reckon.
Well, it's still 38 minutes, so it's premature stress, I would say. And there's plenty of time. Milla Brown.
Staying busy. Let's see what she's got.
She's got airs, we know that.
Just nice carving. Love it.
Yeah, another one there, snaps and pushes the tail out. And it's crazy at the end there, and that nose ended up pointing back towards her as she fell. Dangerous wipeout right there at the end.
There we go. Nice carve right here. I love her style. This is exciting surfing. Love seeing her kind of, lay the rail. It's great.
There's an energy and intensity to everything she's doing. Low, compressed, fast.
You can see the aggression, can't you?
She
Dynamic.
wants this win, you can tell.
Kirra up. This is where she has looked the most comfortable. When she's been able to just paddle way up the point and make her opponents feel like they're sitting on the shoulder, it's played to her advantage.
Finds a good wall here.
First snap.
Power turn there.
That was nice.
2 power turns right there. Oh, and a third one. Look at the spray flying in there. Oh my, wow. That was huge.
That was the equaliser. that matched the earlier ride, the first ride of Milla Brown. She's on the one behind, driving this section Is there going to be a tube ride? Because that could be the differentiating point. If you could get barreled, both the girls are doing beautiful turns. Into the last one, comes
Oh
unstuck.
my goodness.
That was lovely. Like, we've seen the aggression from her, but there was a period of that ride where she was so patient, waiting for a section, waiting for that part of the lip.
Watch the spray fly from these turns, though.
It's the third one, isn't it?
Yeah.
It rolls up in front of her. Oh.
Do you feel like that's the best wave of the final
I
so
think
far?
so. I think just because it's, I don't know, there's something about the power that, you know, that there's something so flary about it for me. Like, if I was on that boat judging, I would have said yes, for sure.
And the way she sits on the tail of the board, let's have a look at this one. Little flat there at the start, waiting for it to stand up.
Drive.
A little, see that the arc
Speed
in that
turn.
turn was, you know, both those turns were cut a little short because of the speed of the wave. Then there was the incompletion. The
Sick timing.
advantage feels like it's
whole
swung.
wave shit, nice timing.
Now,
Is it better than Milla's?
Better than Milla's.
Milla's other one.
Yeah, this one didn't really work for her. Hey? It was racing.
She was onto it though.
Like, it was a bigger wave, but
Right here.
this is nice,
Oh.
yeah. But I don't think she would stoked
Like loading.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Pinky.
nose of that board was coming right at her head.
Kirra, that was the best wave of the heat by, I think.
Ian Crane agrees with you.
Kirra's the
Lisa.
6 each turn was bigger than the last.
Yeah, it got
Like
bigger
she like
and
hit
bigger.
it, and then next one was bigger, and then next one was bigger, and then tagged the end turn. It was like
You could see
no
her,
pumps
her
in between.
intent. Like, her intent was like, I'm just going to hit this as hard as I can. Like,
Rip that way.
really.
Yeah. No pumps, just straight up and down.
I like this.
Oh, it's
100.
close.
Nah, advantage Pinkerton. Even though it's only one wave really compared to one other wave, and that makes sense at this point in time that it's 1 versus 1, and the edge to Kirra, I agree.
Or are we going to see another pendulum swing where the momentum shifts?
The wave flattens out though, needs some action, something's got to give here. I love the way there's so much board out in front of her, it makes things look bigger, gets stuck in the white water, that's not really going to influence things much, you wouldn't think.
That was sort of horrible wave selection maybe, but I could see how being impatient comes into effect out here. I mean, there's just, it's hard to resist these waves, right?
Yes.
So a bit of time for Milla Coco Brown to think about this one. Be interested to know at this point whether she, like, she's got a good body of work done, but does she know that Kirra's out in front?
First tube ride of the final, not complete. Oh,
what?
I stopped watching.
I didn't, but I couldn't see much.
I'd stop watching too.
Yeah, that was sneaky. She was so deep.
Little magician.
Yeah, how did she get out of that?
Again, it didn't feel like something that was so influential in the result.
Oh, it's another good size wave for Pinkerton.
Beautiful carve back to the pocket, Lise.
Oh, this has got a nice angle on it too, this wave. Oh, that was great. All we need is a little tube ride here. Little floater, little finishing turn. Oh my goodness.
Missed opportunity there.
That end section is dangerous.
And the energy in the ride kind of tempered down. She needed to pick up the energy at that back end and keep her intensity, finish that thing complete, and the advantage would have squarely gone to her.
Yeah. Yeah, she'd have a decent bit of daylight between her and Milla potentially.
Yes, and this is that different angle that it's hard to really see the spray from this point of view, but you can kind of see the size of the wave more. And then this last turn is ouch, you know?
Yeah, it was ouch.
Ouch.
I wouldn't say this unless Kirra had said it herself, but she's talked about being told in the past that she doesn't bend her knees enough, and she said that stuff sticks with you. It's that kind of criticism is something that she works on really, really hard. I've got to say, there's a couple of moments in there where she's getting low and driving. Like, she can look back at that and be proud.
Feels like the bigger the section is, the more drive she can get out of it, the lower she can get, the more time she has at the end there. Things had to happen fast with those quick twitch fibers of the body.
Both of them heading for the shoulder. is.
Sneaky but good.
Did you see that coral head look like
Oh
it passed
my-
through the wave right in
like
front of her?
Huge. Well, that was impressive.
Going to be great to see that from the front on angle.
That was
Bigger
a
wave.
Good size wave right now.
Yeah.
Drops in.
Straight in.
Straight away, Lise.
Just fits perfectly in that little section. Nice little foam ride and just spits right out.
Does that
Impressive.
surpass the rides with the 4 turns?
I'm not sure.
Oh! That was well done.
Was Eithan Osborne wearing Annie Dos Santos's helmet there? Pretty sure he was.
I didn't see.
On the boat, yeah. Okay, 5 minutes left in this final, and it is perfectly poised. Like, you couldn't give it to either of them convincingly now, could you? Very, very tight.
It's very tight.
There's been a level of discomfort at the finishes of all of the rides, you know. Whoever can keep that energy from start to finish, this is going to be an important wave here. No, doesn't. Section's out. She cuts out what's behind it.
And is Milla Coco Brown in the perfect position? She could be.
This one looks a lot cleaner.
There's the coral head doing its thing right
wow.
Or the cameraman.
there.
Or the cameraman.
Driving, another beautiful turn. No tube rides, but great maneuvers. Something
Wow.
that's one more. No, doesn't get the final turn, but that feels like an influential ride of sorts.
The wave was soft, but her energy and aggression was on point all the way.
Yeah, and I like how she just puts herself in the right, perfect spot of the wave where the energy is, which is what you want. You know, and it's like she has this like springboard effect, it seems like, you know, like how she just knows how to react at the right time.
And she's not racing the section. She's able to finish all of those turns.
I feel like those turns were better turns than we've seen on any of the other rides with turns. You couple that with her tube ride, and I feel like things might have just swung the Australians' way. It felt like, you know, Kirra Pinkerton was in the driver's seat for a while, but the tube followed up by that one for Milla Brown. Feels like, to me, that things might have flipped.
I don't think either of them know for sure here. Just clocking over 3 minutes. Kirra Pinkerton and Milla Coco Brown both looking for something. An exclamation mark on the end of this Natural Selection Tour Surf Finals.
Big set.
All right, let's see this.
Pinkerton.
Oh no! If she just got like a super deep barrel, then it would completely switch.
And now you see the difference in this competition. There's no switch of priority. There's nothing like that. It's still free surfing situation. Milla Brown might want to get a paddle on and try and get up that inside of Kirra and just take some control in these dying moments of our first ever women's final for Natural Selection Surf.
Nice clean face on this one.
Ooh. Unloading.
Nice. Power gouges.
Oh.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was critical, that little fall there of the white water coming from behind her, not seeing it. Couple of nice turns, but again, does that better anything of Milla Brown's? Most probably not.
I don't think it even betters
Two of
Kirra's on
hers.
wave. Yeah.
Fair call.
But A for effort.
This first turn was beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh.
This one's great. Until that thing just snuck up on her.
30 on the clock.
Yeah, she needs a barrel.
Exactly.
He's reading my mind.
Barton knows what's up.
You just get that feel. The judges, you know, as great surfers that they are,
They know the difference between these two. And it's what the ocean gives you. Kirra Pinkerton resting on the inside, just praying that something will come.
ooh, that's it. So, you compare the surfing on the wave face, and Milla Brown might have had an advantage there on her earlier ride, and then you go to the tube and it becomes a differentiating factor, and most probably, judges will tell us, but to me it feels like that tube ride will give the Aussie.
I felt like the big 4-turn wave from Kirra Pinkerton was the standout in terms of turns, but yeah, that barrel from Milla.
No, I agree.
In the heat recap, first turn solid, nice wrap on the second. Kind of traditional contest surfing. This was our opening ride, and that last turn was money.
was humongous.
In the context of everything we've seen over that hour of surfing, that last turn suddenly stands right up,
It
doesn't
does,
it?
yes.
And in real time, you kind of forget about it as it's moving along because it happens so early.
Right.
This was big, though. This turn was beautiful.
Yeah,
And
this
then-
last turn here.
Boom.
But then you compare it to Milla's.
More critical Milla's, right?
Then here we go.
The tube ride.
Is that the deciding factor?
Is that the only tube ride in this heat?
Only tube ride. Kirra Pinkerton didn't get a tube ride, and she was deep. She was riding
That
the foam
was
ball. That was a beauty.
Okay, let's hear from the women.
How'd it feel out there?
Fuck, it was good fun still. Just lots of turns, which is fun because yesterday was a big day at tube, so it's kind of good to get some turns under the belt, but it's always sick to have heat with Kirra. It's so much fun, and yeah, we had a blast out there.
I felt like it was interesting watching because you guys were just going head to head, and wouldn't you want to know who won right now? But
Yeah.
you guys gotta wait.
We have to wait.
You sure do.
It's great. I don't really know how I did out there, but you know,
I feel like both you guys did great. I wouldn't want to be a judge today either.
yeah, I was like, we don't really get perfect waves with no one out often, so I was like, ah, whatever, we'll just go for it.
Especially with just you and your mate out, it's the fucking funnest thing ever.
So how'd you feel like you did, Kirra?
I think I had one really good one, and then other than that, I don't know. It was kind of a long heat, so I forget
I feel
what
like
really
every
happened.
time I caught a wave, I turned around and Kira's just doing the biggest down carp, and I was just on the inside like, it was so tapped.
She got the only barrel, I think, in the heat. It was just hard to choose the right ones too, because it was like so bumpy and like
so tricky.
Yeah.
But it's good. It really tests like your ocean knowledge, I guess. Like I was like struggling out there for a bit. I felt like I was in no man's land for half the heat. So I was just like paddling it, so it would be like there and then we just look at each other like, is there even waves out here? And then we just see one like spit down the line and we're just like, oh,
Yeah.
We were just sitting down there and then we went up the top and one comes from where we were.
I love it. I want to know.
If you could bottle adrenaline, I think that's what it looks like, doesn't it?
That was exactly what I was going to say. I wanted to tap into that myself. I'm like, wow, that is some serious energy. But that's how stoked she is. Like, I mean, just being able to surf that crazy wave, I can only imagine.
Yeah, she was nearly as stoked as you, Barton.
It was just grommet froth, full bore, wasn't it? You know, just all excited. And like you said, I think you said earlier, she has a mouth like a pirate. and that's a good Aussie there, that one from the northern beaches of Sydney. And she did herself proud. Kirra Pinkerton as well. Great performance.
Yeah, no result from the judges yet. We'll be finding that out fairly shortly. We've also got in here, I want to pull this up quickly.
Good luck. Yeah.
Go on, you hold it. You hold
One
it,
hand.
and I can talk. Check you out. Stronger than he looks. These are the natural selection trophies, all of the different sports. So we've got, yeah, it's heavy, isn't it?
It's crazy.
Bike, surf, snowboard, and ski will all have versions of this, put together by an artist called Weston Lambert, a sculptor out of the Pacific Northwest. He crafted these out of glass and rock. He said, in the context of human lives, rock represents let's rewind it. Rock represents the solidity and timelessness of the earth, and then you've got that glass, that fluid opacity on top. So really, really beautiful. And one of those women, Kirra Pinkerton or Milla Coco Brown, are going to be taking home one of these. If you're interested in some of the natural selection artwork, then the poster over, I've got this one. This shoulder is by Mike Perillo, another Pacific Northwest artist. I think he's based out of Hawaii these days, though. He's done these. We've got fine art prints of these. There are 25 of them that have been signed by all of the surfers. If you go across to naturalselectiontour.com, you'll find those on the merch page of the store, and you can go and get one of those limited edition 25 posters. Okay, take a deep breath, everyone. Ready for men's finals?
So ready, mate. Jumping out of my skin.
We got Cleland Jr. going up against Soli Bailey. We're going to go for a quick break. When we come back, though, those two will be in the water and battling it out for the Natural Selection Tour men's surf finals. Welcome back to Natural Selection Surf. We are in our final session and we have the men's finals to bring you now in this tiny coral atoll out in the middle of Micronesia. Welcoming back to the studio, Tanner Gadauskas joining me and Barton Lynch. Gentlemen.
Right on time.
Yeah, but
I love that you welcome everyone back in with a handshake.
He's such a
I'll
greeter.
give you one too, bro, because the final's on. We're ready to go.
Okay, now your first pick, Eithan Osborne, is out. Where are you going, Soli Bailey or Cleland?
Honestly, at this point in the event, you can't go wrong. It's the cherry on top of the cake. It's been so fun to watch. If I had to pick somebody, they're so good, both of them, my goodness. I'll go Cleland, though. I will stick with Al.
Okay.
I see an energetic difference. Cleland has that current competitor energy in his surfing. Looks like he's been competing a lot, where Soli's a little smoother and a little more free surfer style because he hasn't been competing as much. So I feel like that energy that Al has, although I picked Soli at the start, I'm staying with it, but I feel like Al's advantage is that current competitive mindset that he's been living in.
That's a brilliant point as well. When you think about Conehead, like when it was giant and square barrels, you know that Soli's, he's kind of got that free surfer mentality of pulling in and going really deep, which Al has to his credit as well, but now it's dropped out. That comp sharpness might come to the fore.
It's quite possible. We did see some really quite flaring turns from Soli too, but he's going to need to do that because it's not going to be one and only tube ride. Someone's going to get a good tube, and whoever wins that's going to have that advantage, but it's going to come down to the turns that supplement that tube ride into a victory.
Well, I mean, experience tells us that age is just a number in surfing, but Al is 22 and Soli's 29. Is Al going to have that explosive power, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be young and hungry. I do agree with what Barton is saying. Like his discipline of having a competitive mindset to take apart a lineup it's his reality. You know, it's what he's focused on at the moment. And Soli, by virtue of seeing those insane waves the other day, he was more tapping into where he was at. And so, you know, maybe the advantage does notch to Al, whether it's his age or just where he's at right now in his life. You know, it'll be fun to see how it plays out because Barton, again, like you said, Soli had fantastic rail work in his last heat. It's not like he's a slouch by any means. He definitely has the ability to get it done.
Okay, it's going to be all about wave selection, isn't it? Before we get into the finals, though, quick mention of just your sartorial elegance, gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm feeling kind of good right now.
Yeah,
looking good, brother.
Big shout out to Rourke, the official suppliers, the apparel for the Natural Selection Tour event. So big shout out to them. Thank you very much for dressing everyone. Right now, though, we're going to take a closer look at the men's preview for the finals. It's always the same man out there, isn't it? We've got Nathan Fletcher out on the boat. That boy's done some miles. I reckon he's pretty salty, but little weather check-in. We've got 6 to 8 foot on those bigger sets. Still pretty windy, but it has backed off from the first qualifying day. Let's hear from Nathan now.
Starting in 20 minutes, we have the men's final, and we're expecting to see 2 of the world's best high-performance young kid rippers go head-to-head, but also, like I said before, you're going to see some brotherly love. You're going to see them trying their hardest, trying their best, but on top of that, they're going to be cheering for each other and wanting to see each other rip as well. So that's really the exciting part of natural selection surf.
Soli Bailey and Al Cleland have fought their way through round 1, round 2 and the semis, and now they go head-to-head in exactly the same format final as the women. 60 minutes to impress the judges.
I like it. I don't know.
Okay, now Cleland blowing kisses to the boat there. He's ready to get going. This is the Natural Selection Surf Men's Final presented by Manscaped. 2 men, 60 minutes. Only one can go home victorious.
I'm nervous. I don't know if I'm ready.
Well, Barton, that's a pretty unique way to start a final, wouldn't you say?
That's the most unique I've seen in quite some time, let's say.
There's 50 feet, like 20 meters between them, isn't there? Pretty spread out.
But look at the line of this point break, just beautiful.
It really seems like it's groomed out through the day.
Soli on the inside at the start. What's this wave going to turn into? Drives off the bottom, snaps out of the top. It's not a big wave, hasn't got a lot of wall in front, but the surfing looks radical. Finishing turn, beautiful flaring, but falls.
Wow, it's good to see Soli pushing so hard on that last turn.
Yeah, we were saying that, wasn't it? He needs to push it. That's good, you know, indications early. But it wasn't a wave of consequence, and if you're Al Cleland Jr., you might be going glad. I'm glad I'm out the back now.
Watch, Barton, what I take away on this is his second carve here. He kind of sets this turn up, but then you can see he really bites down right here. Oof.
Drives the tail, doesn't he?
Holds it, yeah.
Shame that it was an incomplete, because 3 turns connected like that would have been powerful. The fall at the end kind of almost makes it a null and void ride, in a sense.
He kind of went over the bars, didn't he?
Bigger is better, boys.
Well, here we go. It looks like Al Cleland out the back.
Driving from super deep, close out. Mistake with wave selection. Look at this one.
He's left that out for Soli.
What a great matchup, huh? At the end of this event, for it to come down to Soli and Al Cleland right here.
Look at number 2. Soli's paddling. He sees this wave. He has to paddle out to it, such is the size. Smooth face too, Tanner.
Here we go. Well, hopefully he's going to take it to the rail right here on this first section with a powerful gouging hit. Oh, I just love the way Soli lays into those. Come on, right?
Yeah.
A lot of meat on the bone.
Yeah, and there wasn't a lot in that wave, but what he made happen in that short space of time was perfect. He couldn't have surfed it any better.
It's 2 depth charges, aren't they? Just boom.
Powerful. See the spray?
Boom. It's that classic.
Well, 52 minutes left. So Soli's probably talking to Darren, saying, "Hey, are you seeing some good ones in here?"
Yeah.
I mean, why not? Use your environment.
Yeah.
He's talking about DK there, yeah?
I think actually he might be talking about Darren Crawford, who is the water cinematographer in the lineup. That's kind of interesting to hear Gerd talking about that.
Soli up and riding. Beautiful carve. Look at the spray. Sure, the wind grabs it and throws it, but it will impress the judges. Is there a tube ride? There's a fake up. Tried to fake that one and turn it into something.
How great is it, Barton? Like, we basically laid this up, right? Saying that Al was going to have a competitive edge because he's currently in the game more than Soli, but yet we're seeing Soli just show us that, hey, he's got basically a lifetime's worth of the discipline, and he's implementing it right here where it counts the most.
He's going to come in, change his board, and the biggest wave of the day is going to come through. I hope so. I mean, he'll still probably stuff it and make it anyway, but...
Solid board change. Do you think he was being too optimistic about the wave size?
No, it's hard to know because the board looked good, the surfing looked good. Maybe the incompletions and felt that there was a little slowness in the transition from one turn to the other and was looking for something that was a little faster in transition.
Let's see if it makes a big difference for Soli.
And if you get back out there before your opponents had a wave, you feel like that's a win too. And interesting to see Al where he's facing. Where are the waves coming from? Behind him. He's actually facing down and looking at Soli and paddling that way. That was interesting in itself.
So 40-minute mark, Al back up and surfing.
Oh, there we go. That's that classic Al wrap and into a nice blowtail layback. I mean, a little bit more on the creativity. Oh, and he goes down.
Oh, that might be the first commentator's curse.
Far out. Is that on me?
I was thinking it is on you.
Yeah.
I was thinking, though, when I was watching it, like, there is that sharpness. There's a power and a sharpness to his performance in these first 2 turns with what we were talking about being competitively match fit and ready. That is a very disappointing slip there of the back foot.
Call an event timeout, and then all of a sudden the set just comes. You're like, oh.
So another chance here for Al.
So, Bart, we kind of got to go back to the gut feeling here as Al rides another incredible set wave. It seems like Al's starting to surge against that early lead that Soli would have had, right?
Yeah, well, he's decided to just start surfing, but I always like the idea of the early start and then wait for something. So that kind of makes more sense than having a slow start and then rushing to get stuff going towards the end. Again, this wave flattens out, so it kind of feels quite close at this point in time. Perhaps Soli's got a slight edge with more volume and more quantity of turns, Tanner, you think?
I feel like it's also interesting to watch the way these guys are opening up on their face turns because the wind coming from behind them pushes there's a rib that gets pushed through the wave as Soli bites down. That's a beautiful turn and gets a nice, clean second hit. You can tell it creates a little bit more personality. Oh my goodness, Barton. Hold the phone.
Best wave of the finals so far.
Wow. Oh, he has no trouble with it.
That board change has paid off instantly. First wave after the board change, and you could see so much happier on that.
No transition, no getting comfortable. First, the spray that he is throwing in these turns, massive spray, and right back tight to the pocket on every turn, and that one was money. And the fact that he got that last one incompleted at Tanner was sick.
He's so sick. That's the section that kind of clipped Kirra Pinkerton in her last heat. It's cool to see Soli stay on the board.
Bit of work for our Cleland now.
Yeah, but still, the wave of the final, in my gut feeling, hasn't happened yet. We've just seen people duking it out, and they're both in the centre of the ring, and they're throwing punches, and they're boxing each other. But no one's really hit a punch that's going to kind of wobble someone. You know?
They're still sparring.
We haven't
seen a knockout blow.
This might be the one we're talking about. Someone's paddling out. Al Cleland's getting it. I feel like there's more potential in this ocean that hasn't been capitalised on yet.
And as well, it seems like both surfers are starting to garner their rhythm. Here goes Al, maybe with the first barrel of the heat.
He gets mauled by that one.
And if you're Soli, you're like, perfect.
Oh, he'll be frustrated because now he sees Soli take off on the next wave.
Well, that was exactly what I was talking about.
Literally.
And that was the wave that is a differentiating factor. Turn for turn, they were both. It wasn't going to decide the final. This one here very well might.
Oh, so incredibly deep there. And that punching through in like such a long section.
And then the acrobatic fly out was of no consequence, but it was entertaining.
So noting that you saw Al Cleland pull through the back duck diving just on his takeoff spot means that Soli, he didn't really take off on this wave too far up the reef.
And if Al hadn't gone the one before it, that was Al's wave, and he blew it with his wave selection, unfortunately, and Soli capitalised.
Al had to go on that one because of the bomb, but like the first wave he was crap and had all that crumble in it with the wind.
Yeah.
It's so hard to paddle over that, but like that was the same as Eithan and
the hard part. Yeah, and the hard part with that was some of those things look like they crumble, and then as soon as they take off, they go woof, and they're incredible. And if you didn't go, it was the winning wave. That's why it's so hard.
Yeah, you know? That was a bomb too. Like by far biggest wave.
Biggest wave of the heat so far. Yeah.
Soli Bailey in the driver's seat. What can Al Cleland do here, Tanner?
Oh, he's got to knuckle down. You know, they're making a really good point about that second wave being a much cleaner wave face, which allowed Soli to get deep in that barrel. Maybe Al can take a little hit from that. But again, it's wave selection, right, Barton?
Sure is, and look at this one, Soli Bailey flaring out of the top, the momentum building, a beautiful carve down into a closeout turn that is magic. He is hitting peak form right now. The tube ride set it up. That's another nail in the coffin, or in a step towards a victory here.
It took more than 30 minutes to get that tube for Soli. Like, it's a big gamble now for Al just to sit out there and wait for that.
You got to.
And what do you do, though? Essentially, like, do we know Soli took off from the takeoff spot, or did he get it on the way out? Like, Al, you have to know if you're sitting in the right spot for that kind of wave as well.
And we heard Milla Coco Brown talking about the women's final in exactly that context. You're watching waves breaking either side of you.
Good timing to time the last turn, you know, like the way, and he didn't hurry. He didn't hurry, and just got right up in there in the main spot.
First turn he projected too, like went up into the lip and then he didn't stick it. It's kind of like
let it
float it.
Yeah.
So he had all that speed for a big down car. And then straight into it, like no pump. It was sick.
You're on. What about Al right here? What about behind it?
Did you notice Martin Daly driving the boat backwards there? He stood with his back to the controls, just jibbing around. Right, Al, ready to answer back now. Oh!
And we did talk about it before that Al had perhaps been in his peak form prior to this final. Soli had not and was building towards it, and we see really at this point in time, although it could still go any way with 14 minutes on the clock, at this point Soli's performance is heading in the upward trajectory, and Al's has been kind of heading the other way a little bit.
And again, Soli finding a good takeoff spot.
Floats that section, drives around into a beautiful layback snap. He's really having fun out there now. Is there more to come, Tanner?
You know, it's great because we're not necessarily worried about the individual score. So for Soli, even that last turn, he's, as a judge or as a spectator, you can feel his rhythm, right?
Yeah.
You can see that he's feeling dominant over the day.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool, like seeing the credo play out.
And can you imagine his confidence having, like, just, he gets that first wave with all of the turns, then he gets the barrel wave. He knows that he made the right decision coming in and changing.
Absolutely, 100%. Here it is on the replay. And again, it was just another wave that consolidates your authority in this position of leading this final. And it's playtime almost for Soli. He's just able to really push stuff further and further because the base is established. Now he's just getting radical and trying as hard as he can to keep pushing upward.
But the best competitors never say die.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. The only bummer here is that he did kind of leave the door open for Al to go to the pole position right here, throw the hands up. But you never know, like the wave of the day might still be coming through, Barton.
That's what, you know, that's what you live in hope as a competitor, as an Al Cleland Jr. supporter. That's what you have in your mind, and he has something in mind here. He's paddling, he sees a good one. Soli's just there looking at him, wondering how good it's going to be.
It looks clean on the wave face from here. As Al kind of sets up, get the speed, and this is a bit of a layback sesh going on. Oh my word, another gut buster. Al connecting where he should. Well, we love it, you know, heat's on here. Yep, take it to the club sandwich world. Oh, Al, so adding a little bit of spice and creativity there at the end of that wave, that was exciting, right?
And you can hear the judges and the supporters and everyone on the boat, the other surfers, they want a final. They wanted Al to get back into this thing. That gets him back in from a turn-for-turn perspective. The tube ride is still the differentiating factor. We saw it potentially play a role because we don't know the result in the women's, but this front-on angle is going to tell us how powerful and influential this score is going to be. Oh. It's looking good, Tanner.
What a patented series of turns, huh? My goodness, Al, he's such a low-center power surfer, and when he connects with those layback turns, they're electric.
That needed to be completed maybe just to finish with that positivity. But that was the sort of ride he needed to start to build that momentum and hopefully bump into a good tube ride that could match Soli's.
Yeah, this battle's come to life now, hasn't it?
Driving bottom turns, beautiful out of the top. Great performance surfing from both of the surfers in the final.
Which is great to see because on the day of days, they also were the guys charging some of the hardest. So it proves the concept that, you know, they are the Swiss Army knife of competitors.
And then when we see the results, what I feel has been proven is that you don't need to score rides to know who's winning.
I agree with that, Barton. I totally, and look at the camaraderie we're seeing here as well. Like
45.
Yeah. Well, Al's feeling it for him.
Don't surrender, Al. Not yet, man. There's one tube coming. Except Soli's on your inside.
It feels, watching that, it feels like Al's conceding there, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it was a great final from Soli, start to finish. He started strong. He did what he needed in the middle to really take control, the stranglehold, and then finish strong as well.
And it shows that camaraderie, right? Like these guys are supporting each other. Al's in the water and he's able to take the hat off and be like, hey, great job. Look at him. He's hyping up his boy.
Yeah, it's so cool. The ocean's gone flat. It feels like it's over. There's still 10 seconds, but this one might be decided as well.
He won round one, that session. He won his semi-final. He's won the final. That is an incredibly emphatic performance.
Well, he might have won the final. Well, still got to hear what the judges think.
Yeah, but looking at Al Cleland there, he's like, that looks like he's conceded to me.
Fair call.
I mean, yeah, he had a great heat.
Okay, Soli jumping off there. He's seen something coming. He wants a victory lap. He wants a victory lap.
That's the surfer in him.
Oh, look at this.
Give it to him.
What?
Yeah, Soli.
What a way to finish.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That was the ocean just giving a little gift, wasn't it, to Soli Bailey?
You know that you're doing the right thing. You're in the right place. I feel like that as someone involved with this event, that kind of proves our point. And to see him get to celebrate the victory like that was fantastic.
You've almost got tear in your eye.
I do. Well, I've known Soli since he was a little boy, mate. I took him to Hawaii for his first trip. We've been mates for a very long time. I've always been his camp. The fact is that he wasn't in this event. Noah Dean was. And when Noah Dean pulled out to surf, I think, the backdoor shootout, Soli got a start at the last minute. And to see him go from sort of a last-minute call up to the victory is a powerful thing.
That is a fantastic story.
Well, you can tell that we're out in the jungle, we're away from the real world, and things feel different.
Oh, right, let's take this through the finals from start to finish. Soli Bailey opened up, and there was intent there from the very beginning.
Of course. You know, how great is it that Soli was the guy who spoke to the rhythm of the Pacific Ocean, and then, of course, it comes as a gift to him, right?
Beautiful.
Today was his day.
Powerful surfing on the face. He matched Al. He most probably beat Al turn for turn as well. Had the advantage there. And then when he got that tube ride, as we see this ride from Al, this was his best ride of the final. And maybe didn't have his best opportunities in this final, but he showed how great he is. And he's got a big year ahead. And there's Soli finishing up an incredible inside wave. Congratulations to both these guys, mate.
Yeah, 100%. Congrats to both. Al left a little bit of meat on the bone here with two of his rides. This one being one with the club sandwich on the inside, but when it goes to the barrels, it goes to the barrels.
That was, I think you've summed it up perfectly there, Tanner. Like, he was in sync with the ocean today. Everything came to him.
Well, and that's the way it always is. It's never any different. That's the story with being a surfer, isn't it? You've got to fit in with the ocean. And you think about it, nobody knows what's going to happen next. Not a coach, not a surfer, not a judge, no one, except for the person sitting there in the lineup. They've got to make their best guesstimate of what Mother Nature's going to do next, whether this wave's worth going, because you can do the right thing in one moment and 5-10 seconds later it's the wrong thing, as we saw with Al going the first one and behind it Soli's wave. So you never know, and you've got to rely on yourself and go deep to connect with the ocean in that way, and Soli did that today.
It's almost like a chi thing. Like, you can't force, you absolutely cannot force that rhythm with the ocean, especially in the Pacific Ocean, because as soon as you start thinking, well, then you're out of your flow state, right? And it seemed like Soli was connecting with that like heat after heat in the sessions, and it's cool to see him come up as a winner. I mean, Al, to his own regard, was doing the exact same thing. I think Soli just might have outcompeted him in that last session.
Yeah, the energy was there, and it was a passionate display from both of them. And then to hear the crowd and the other surfers and everyone have such a good time at a surfing event, that was sick.
Yeah, we saw there, we had a little bit of from Al in the semi-finals. He turned the tables on Eithan, and then you get in there and Soli just had it all his own way.
He made it go that way, didn't he? Positioning, wave selection, what he did on the wave face, the rhythm, the flow with the moment, and then into that celebratory ride after. Just proved the point, mate. Mother Nature knew. They went, here, have another one. And the fact that he jumped off the sled off the jet ski and got it was magic.
And too speaks to the fact that heat or no heat, like he's a surfer, like he wants to ride those waves. It's like, I think the whole crew kind of embodied that, which it's like, you know, Al celebrating the fact that Soli won, Soli just after the heat getting another barrel. It's like, it felt good to see that, you know, in a sense where it wasn't so strict. It's like, I won. It's like, who cares? Let's all have a drink and celebrate the fact that we're all out here. This is a trip of a lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is definitely the way to celebrate. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have both the men's and the women's podium ceremonies. We'll see you very shortly. Welcome back to Natural Selection Surf, where the competition has just unfolded around 6,000 miles somewhere west-southwest of us in Micronesia. And what a fitting conclusion it was to, it's got to be said, a breathtaking competition. That was really, really strong. Still no solid idea of who's won the women's though yet, Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely close, right? Right?
Yeah. I mean, you thought Milla Coco Brown?
Yeah.
Kirra from the beginning?
Yeah, that was your original pick. On the strength of what you saw, Barton?
Yeah, I feel like, again, the tube rides make the difference, and Milla Brown looked like she might have won that one, but we'll see in a moment.
Okay, well, we'll find out very shortly which of the women took it. Will it be the barrel or will it be those huge 4 turns from Kirra Pinkerton? Let's take a look at the podium ceremony.
We fucking scored.
We did.
We did, eh? Fucking that shit is full force. We fucking scored this trip. Fuck.
This is all right, you guys. I guess we're gonna start with second place in the ladies. Is gonna be Kirra Pinkerton. Wow, that's mental. Obviously, in the first place, Milla Coco Brown. Firing off right into these gentlemen over here. Cleland Jr. Second place. Viva la Mexico. And then Leadfoot himself in first place. Been on a tear. Soli Bailey.
Yes, there you go.
Let's go! Yeah, how about a little speech there, Tom?
To start with, I just want to thank everyone for this. To create something like this is truly, there's a lot of background work that goes into this, and I'm just truly honored to be here and amongst all you guys. I'm kind of actually speechless, to be honest. I just fucking had the sickest day. The ocean gave me some good waves. You know, Jason, Jody, Nathan, Gur, Crano, one of my best mates, Pam. Obviously, nothing would have happened without Martin. And yeah, I'm just truly honored, and all the surfers, everyone absolutely charged yesterday. That was a real special day.
Oh, it's just been such a crazy trip. It's pretty much just a trip with a bunch of my idols, which is so sick to be a part of. Being the youngest here, just looking up to everyone, especially all the girls, like, you guys are all amazing, and it's just so sick to be amongst it. I wouldn't be anywhere without, especially Coco. She's been my idol since I started surfing. And I just look up to her surfing so much, and it's just so sick to be a part of all of you guys, and thanks for a sick time.
Thank you, Marty!
So, Milla Coco Brown making it a double for the Aussies, Barton.
Did I call that?
How shallow.
Did I have shallow?
You did, Barton.
Woo!
Got it.
I think that was amazing. The whole thing was amazing. And to see the camaraderie and the feeling from that presentation there, from the boat there were no losers. There was no points, no scoring, no stuff, interferences and priorities and all that stuff. There was just surfing and friends and camaraderie and the type of thing that we all hoped it would be. So,
shout out to all of you guys here doing the commentary, casting your eye over this work. you guys all called it. Like Soli shouted it out. Thanks to the ocean for giving me the waves there. Like that was a huge part of it for him.
I mean, the whole experience is so special. Even for myself, I'm surrounded by world champion surfers. I'm in the booth. I'm calling an event that is fresh within surfing, that's like cemented through Travis Rice's legacy, and to see it come to fruition like that and hear those words from the surfers, it's so validating, right? Like we watched it, we were all psyched, and it's like Soli is thanking every single person by name. He's so grateful for the opportunity. It's a trip of a lifetime. It's like, it's rad, dude. Like I think this is straight up the future of it.
And as for female surfing, when you look at someone like Milla Coco Brown taking that title at 17, what does that mean? You mentioned earlier in the comp, Lisa, all of those 12, 13, 14-year-olds that we're seeing coming through. What does it mean to them to see someone like Milla win?
It's huge, right? I think that she's inspiring so many more other girls right now. They're all going to be itching to try to qualify for an event like this for sure. And just, you know, putting their best work out there just to be noticed. And it's going to, you know, it's going to really inject like this, you know, motivation to these girls. And also just Milla is not going to forget this day, obviously, you know, being with all her heroes and peers. And what a way to, you know, put herself on the map.
100%, yeah. That's rubber stamped her legend status, hasn't it? Okay, we can take a look back now at some of the highlights from the women's event. So let's check out the finest bits of female surfing that we've seen over the course of the 2 days. Well, we talked about it a little bit, but that's nearly a video part in 2 days of comp surfing.
Yeah, not many waves ridden really in the entirety of the event for her, and it shows how great she is because so many of them were highlights.
I almost feel cheated that we only saw her in that first round and then the finals. I'd love to have seen her in that second session.
Well, you will get to see her more, I'll give you that.
We've got a feeling about that
one.
Yeah,
we've got a feeling about that. Yeah. That's definitely not the last we've heard of Milla Coco Brown. Okay, we've talked about him quite a bit already, but we can take a look at Soli Bailey's highlights as well. Let's go and see all of the best bits of Soli Bailey from his 3 rounds of surfing. I kind of forgotten just how brutal that slam was that he took on the first session.
Stitches, opening day, paid his dues and got
Yeah,
repaid.
that's what I was going to say. Definitely had to wipe out of the event too, right?
I mean, you've had some heavy hold downs, Lisa. Like, how hard is it to come back from that?
Yeah, it shakes you. And it's impressive to see how many slams everyone's taken at this break, and then basically didn't stop them from continuing on the mission.
It's also rad to know that Soli was riding a bunch of different boards to the event. Going back to the highlight reel, he was on a yellow board the first day, and we know he switched up his board the second day. So he really did a great job of overcoming slight adversities through the day to make it his own win in his own way.
Yeah, he had a really strong sense of what he wanted to do potentially and how he wanted to do it when you look at it like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Representing the Bundjalung people of the north coast of Australia, on the east coast of Australia, middle north coast of Australia, there where he lives, Byron Bay area. So he's a proud Indigenous Australian, flying the flag, and did the nation proud.
Oh, it's fantastic. And
Yeah.
how a little bit of disappointment for Lisa and Tanner there that Australia took all the bragging rights on the first NST Surf.
I'm not disappointed at all. This was
Yeah.
amazing and so inspiring. And I got to see everyone surf at an extremely high level. So I couldn't have asked for a better event to watch.
I know, it's funny. I almost feel pigeonholed that I had to have picks. You know what I mean? Like, that entire roster was psycho. Like, you guys did such a great job of picking a diverse crew that has diverse approaches to the wave and then setting them at a place like Micronesia that's going to challenge them, you know? So it was going to be a win no matter who took it away. Of course, I have that hometown sense. It's like, hey, Kirra and Eithan. But when it was a wash at the end of the day, I was like, I couldn't be happier.
It was almost, in a way, the level of surfing was up here, and it was almost who the ocean decided on at the end of the day.
Well, it's those decisions you make of what to take, where to sit, all of every, that chess game of you against the nature and the lineup. That's a complicated thing, mate. And it can't be undervalued. Just to be in the right place at the right time is an incredibly difficult thing to do. And as surfers, we spend our lives trying to be in that pocket, in that zone,
You've just done, Tanner did it for me earlier, you've just segued for me perfectly, because this whole event wouldn't have happened without Surfline and the forecasting. This is a little piece we put together just to show you the role they played with their storm track.
From the mountains to the oceans, the same storm systems are shaping our rides, whether it's snow or surf. The storm that we're looking at was part of this broader, longer range pattern that developed around mid-December and stretched for about a month. We saw a complex low system set up. And complex low is kind of like one big parent low with a bunch of little baby lows that kind of rotate around it, and that stretched pretty much all the way across the North Pacific. That set off a ton of surf, and Japan got a bunch of snow. The specific storm that we were looking at started to take shape in the north of Japan around January 3rd before it dipped and tracked down towards Hawaii. And then as the storm strengthened, it moved down towards Micronesia. And one of the interesting things is it really got nice backing high pressure. And people don't necessarily think about high pressure when they think about good swells developing. A lot of times they just consider the strength of the storm. But the high and low interaction can be really important. A stronger high next to a stronger low means stronger wind. And that's when you see fetch size expand. Here we had the storm that was relatively strong with a nice wide fetch to it. As that storm dipped off Japan and down towards Micronesia, eventually towards Hawaii, it made basically a U-turn and then shot back up into the Gulf of Alaska. It set up mountain snow up in the Pacific Northwest, British Columbia, and Southeast Alaska. When you start to think about these storms across the globe, whether you're riding frozen water or riding the ocean, we are all connected in this sense. There's this old saying like, if it snows in Japan, 4 or 5 days later, it's get a pipeline.
And the lovely part of that as well, there's all those storms are linked in the northern hemisphere. The whole time that was going on, there were lovely highs in the southern hemisphere, which allowed natural selection bike to take place. If you're new to the natural selection universe, then this year is the first year of the 4-sport expansion. So you've got all of the traditional snowboard stuff going on, which means that in just over exactly a week's time, February the 27th, we'll open up with all of the natural selection duels. 6 of them from as far afield as the Journeyman Lodge to Andermatt in Switzerland, and then we've got one going down in Japan that you saw Surfline mentioning there. Those duels are head-to-head, and that will qualify people for the main snowboarding event. But last weekend in New Zealand, we had the first ever natural selection bike event. And I was down there, and it's safe to say that the caliber of riding was just as high as everything we've seen from the surf here. Here's a little sneaky peek.
There we go, let's make some noise. Now that is a run. So much creativity out of Proving Grounds.
Oh, this is so cool.
This is not real.
The slopestyle freeride part of the sport is so shapeable.
The idea is to use the mountain, not build on top of the mountain. Potential natural hits everywhere.
I haven't been this excited for a course in a long time.
It brings it back to the creative side of mountain biking. The sport needs it.
Never seen anything that looks like that. This defines free riding.
Natural Selection Bike will be available to watch on Red Bull TV March the 5th, exactly the same time as both of these surf broadcasts, 12 p.m. So do not miss that, I promise you. It's an absolute scorcher. And then straight after that, we go into 7 days of live window ready for the snowboarding. Barton, I know you're a passionate snowboarder. Are you looking forward to this one?
I really am. I've been watching Natural Selection for years since it started, and I love what they've done in snow. To see it now happening in surf was incredible. To see that bike, I scared the hell out of me, actually. I thought, just keep me away from that stuff.
Yeah, as brutal as this wave has been, the bike course is just the same. It's if there's a course of confidence in mountain biking to match a wave of consequence in Micronesia, that is it for sure. But third year in Revelstoke for the snowboarding, and this is what it's going to look like. The best riders, incredible natural terrain. This is Yeti Natural Selection. Expect to see big, heavy hitting runs.
It's one of the most anticipated duels because of the riders who are involved.
I kind of feel my heart pumping out of my chest right now.
Copy. 3, 2, 1. Going up.
So keep an eye on all of Natural Selection's social channels. So that's at Natural Selection on Instagram, or you can take a look at Natural Selection Bike, Natural Selection Snow, Natural Selection Surf, and Natural Selection Ski. But if you keep an eye on those channels, then you will know exactly when Natural Selection Snowboard is going down. The window is March the 10th to March the 17th. The final event of this 4-sport expansion, though, is Natural Selection Ski, going down on Thursday the 17th. 8 men, 4 women in Alaska. This one promises to be epic.
This is truly made for athletes by athletes.
the highest level backcountry freestyle contest on the planet.
Skiing and creativity in its most authentic form.
It's gonna be way different than any ski contest we've ever seen before. Feels like a dream come true for me, honestly.
So much to look forward to in the coming months, so keep it locked here. Follow Natural Selection on all of the social channels. That pretty much brings us to the end, though. How are you feeling, guys?
Oh, I'm that happy, eh?
I'm kind of like, what a time to be alive. That was insane.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for
that was
having
so
us.
great.
Oh, thank you, guys. It's been incredible. I mean, Barton cried a little bit. And the insight that you brought was fantastic. I think on behalf of all the viewers, thank you so much for your experience and expertise. That was so much fun.
Thank you, mate. It was a ball.
Yeah, it was a pleasure.
Such a grateful opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all so much for watching. Please join us when Natural Selection comes back in a couple of weeks for the Jules and Natural Selection bike. We'll see you then.
Okay, I'm so summer. Everyone else is hungover though, so it's all the same.
Same hype.
Holy shit! That was the best wave I got this whole trip. I want to see the clip. It's starting to get less and less sick in my mind.
It was just sick to share pumping waves with all the girls and just watch everyone charge. There was just such a good vibe out there.
Our first day we were landing, looking at this like reeling right, and I just knew it was going to be super fun.
That's some of the gnarliest and rawest ocean that most of us had been in. Like they were just proper sea monsters, the ones that were coming.
For me, it was just great to see an event where like we don't run on the bad days and we wait and everyone listened to the athletes. So it was really cool to have that vibe and then get an opportunity to surf like once in a lifetime waves.
Felt like the wave of my life. I'd like to see it. The jet ski guys were losing it. They're like, that would have been so sick. I'm like, I made it. They're like freaking out. They're like, no fucking way.
I'm used to numbers, I'm used to very specific words for a criteria, but Brad just kept going, and I agree, you're no good surfing. It's just this overall impression and trust that we'll come up with the right result.
We need events like this, and I want to see the best of the best, and I don't care where people are from or what their hype is or whatever. When someone does something incredible, I'm like, I saw that, man.
The best waves in the world are at remote destinations, and seeing how it ran over the last few days, it kind of gives you hope that like you can do this anywhere in the world. And like I'm genuinely excited to see where it's going to head, and if we can keep pulling it off.